everyone, and welcome to the Wrestling Experience. My name is Earl Owen and tonight we are going to bring you the wrestling experience like nobody's business because tonight you've landed on the mothership. You've landed on a planet Thursday, and we want to welcome you to tonight's extravaganza. Well, folks, we have some shocking and terrible sad news about Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan, as you know, passed away this morning. And he was 71 years old. We're going to talk about Hogan. I have some memories about Hogan that we're going to talk about here tonight on the Wrestling Experience. Plus, ladies and gentlemen, my guest Michael is having some problems, but he will be here. He's going to make his debut tonight here on the Wrestling Experience. Also, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to give you a preview of the SummerSlam card as it stands right now, and we're going to rewind Dynamite, and we're going to give you wrestling news. All of this and so much more here tonight on the Wrestling Experience. Which, ladies and gentlemen, make sure that you hit the like button, you subscribe, and you share. You hit the like button, subscribe, and share. It's Thursday. You landed on that mothership. It's the experience. It's the wrestling experience.
Turn me up, Johnny.
You landed on that mothership. Welcome to Planet Experience. Welcome to the Wrestling Experience.
All right, folks, and he is here, ladies and gentlemen. Let's add him to the screen. Let's add Michael to the screen. Like, add him to the screen. There he is.
What's up?
Michael, welcome to the Wrestling Experience.
Thank you for having me, my brother.
Yeah, so well, Michael is making his debut, ladies and gentlemen, and it's always good to have first-time guests. And I'm sure this won't be the last time he'll be on this show, to say no the least. Um, so let's just get into it. Let's get into tonight's telecast. Like I said, folks, make sure that you hit the like button and you subscribe to my show. I greatly appreciate it. And King is here. He said, I got the notifications on. All right, King. Thank you so much for doing that. And Jeffrey says, what's up? How's it going, Jeffrey? How's it going tonight? So let's talk about Hulk Hogan for a second. As you all know, ladies and gentlemen, Hulk Hogan passed away this morning at 9:38 Eastern Time in Clearwater, Florida. The police were called to Hogan's home. He was having a massive heart attack. And by the time they gave him this resuscitation and by the time they took him to the hospital had already declared Hulk Hogan passed away. Um, I grew up on Hulk Hogan. I grew up on Hulk Hogan as a kid. I don't know how many. I don't know how many of you are Hulkamaniacs, but I was a Hulkamaniac when I was a kid, and I remember his first title win over the Iron Sheik at Madison Square Garden. My mom took me to the show, and this was absolutely one of the most iconic moments I think I'll ever forget. Is when Hogan dropped that leg and he pinned the Iron Sheik for the 3 count and became champion. I kind of knew Hogan was going to be something nothing but sensational. Hogan then turned around and he made himself a brand name to all the households. And he made himself an icon. And who doesn't remember the battles he had with Earthquake, the battles he had with Andre the Giant? And of course, how about the match that he had with Earthquake in the Philadelphia Spectrum at SummerSlam, and he won a countout victory over the Behemoth? Who doesn't remember that? And then the slam that was heard around the world, WrestleMania 3 in front of 93,000 people, which, by the way, I attended WrestleMania 3. And it was an iconic moment. It's a real iconic moment. I'm going to turn to Michael. Mike, before I read some of the quotes and the rest of the story about Hogan, I'm going to go to Michael. Michael, let me ask you a question. What fond memories do you have of Hulk Hogan?
Um, I would say, I mean, obviously, it's the the original red and yellow before anything was the original Hulkamaniacs. Everybody got to remember that if you're from that generation. Even if you wasn't a wrestling fan, you knew who Hulk was. You knew what a Hulkamaniac was. But my favorite memories of Hogan is probably NWO Black and White. Like him being the third member is probably like my all-time favorite Hogan moment.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I would agree. Who doesn't remember? Yeah, the Mega Powers explode at WrestleMania at the Trump Plaza Hotel and Casino in Atlantic City. Yeah, who
Yeah,
doesn't remember that? Who doesn't remember that? Yeah, and I remember Hulk Hogan taking on The Rock at WrestleMania. Who
yo,
doesn't
that
remember that?
yeah, that
Who
was
doesn't
crazy.
remember that? Yeah, that was crazy. That
Yeah,
was crazy. I thought I would never see that in my lifetime, but we did get it.
yeah, we
Thanks
did.
to WWE, we did. Thanks to WWE, we did. Um, and of course, the heel turn on WCW TV, and he went on the side of the NWO. Who doesn't remember that?
Yeah,
The leg drop heard around the world. Hogan turning heel. Hollywood
yeah,
Hogan. Who doesn't remember all of that?
yeah.
I will, and I will never forget none of those moments, none of
Yeah,
those moments.
he gave us 50 years, about 50 years
Yep.
his name. So
Yes. Yep.
yeah,
Yep. Jeffrey says when he beat Andre at WrestleMania 3. Yeah, I just mentioned that, Jeffrey. I just mentioned that. The slam that was heard around the world in
yeah,
front of 93,000 people. And Hogan's final appearance on WWE TV was when Raw debuted on Netflix. And he came out, and the audience was really not feeling Hogan at all. As you all know, Hogan in the past had said some things about race, and people were never forgetting for him for doing that. And but I'm always going to remember Hogan for what he was, and he gave us memorable moments.
yeah,
He gave us memorable moments that we will never, and I mean never, forget. It will be etched in our brains for a long time.
yeah. That's for sure.
Yeah, yep. He had his own beer he was coming out with another wrestling adventure. Hogan was always reinventing himself. He was always reinventing himself. He wanted to make himself relevant. And that's what he did. That's exactly what Hogan did. So what I'm going to do right now, folks, is I'm going to read you a quote that came from Mr. McMahon on Twitter today. And Mr. McMahon said this about Hogan. This is his words, and I quote: "The world lost a treasure today. Hogan was the greatest WWE superstar of all time. Someone who loved and admired around the world. He was a trailblazer, a first performer who transitioned from being a wrestling star into a global phenomenon. His grit and unbridled thirst for success was unparalleled, and it made him consummate performer. He gave everything he had to the audience, whom appreciated and respected and loved him. He leaves us with one favorite expression: train, take your vitamins, and say your prayers. Today we pray for Hogan." That was a quote from Mr. McMahon.
Yeah. Regardless,
And go ahead, Michael. I'm sorry.
no, sorry, bro. Regardless how you, or not you, but regardless how people feel about him personally, um, a lot of people expose themselves as being dirtbags on the internet today. I'm not gonna celebrate any deaths. Yeah, I mean, there's a few exceptions that you don't gotta feel bad for, like people that have done heinous acts. Um, Hogan isn't no, serial murderer or something like that. So it's like I'm not gonna sit here and celebrate or cheer his death. Anybody that thinks that's the way to go is actually a little disturbing.
I'm not going to glorify that on my show. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that because you all are disgusting. The man has a massive heart attack and he died. Let's leave that alone. Let's not celebrate in someone's that's disgusting.
I
And
agree.
for you to do, and for you all to do that, you all are some sick people, and you all should not be wrestling fans. And I will never recognize you as wrestling fans because that's disgusting. I'm going to remember Hogan for what he did to this business and his iconic moments and his legacy in the ring. What he did out, listen, folks, let me tell you something. We're all not perfect. We're not a perfect people. We're not perfect people. Everyone has a past. Everybody's got a past. Good, bad, or indifferent. We all have a past.
I agree.
But let's not glorify somebody's past because they're dead. Don't do that. Remember Hogan for what he was. And that was his iconic moments when he came through that curtain and he entertained you with pain, blood, sweat, and tears. That's what Hogan did in that ring. He left it all on the line. And that's what we should remember him for, not anything else.
Well
All
said.
right. All right. I have another story about Hogan, and then we're gonna move on. Excuse me. Um, Let me just bring it up here. I had it. Uh, uh, while I'm looking for it, anybody that's in the chat, if you have your favorite Hulk Hogan memories, please do so. Put it in the chat, and I'll put it on the air. I want to know what your thoughts are on the passing of Hulk Hogan very suddenly today. And okay, here's a story about Hogan and his passing today. Hogan's final months were filled with illness and descended to the fierce support of the President Trump. his new professional wrestling venue got off to the ground before his death this morning. Hogan was 71 years old. WWE confirmed Hogan's death with People magazine on Thursday, July 24th. Um, but 2 days later, the pro wrestling world react to shock over Hogan's death after the Clearwater Police Department says that they were called to cardiac arrest. Hogan was pronounced dead at Morton Plant Hospital this morning. So Hogan had some few um, ideas and some new ventures that he was doing, and then of course his untimely passing. So again, I want to send our deepest condolences to Hogan's family, his friends, especially Jimmy Hart. I know how hard this must be on Jimmy Hart because Hogan and Jimmy Hart were like two peas in a pod. They were friends. They were friends. And now Hogan is in heaven with his mega powers buddy, Macho Man Randy Savage and Elizabeth. So we want to wish Hogan and his family the best of health and mourning the passing of Hulk Hogan. Let's see what Jeffrey says. I'm not a big fan of him, but I respect him for what he did in the wrestling industry. Absolutely, Jeffrey. Absolutely. I respect him for what he did, and I am going to remember him just as that. His iconic moments. All right, all right. So let's move on here, and let me just grab my notes. And all right, folks, I'm going to give you some wrestling news. So let's get into the wrestling news right now. Internal sources at bodyslam.net. There's no indication The Rock will return to WWE programming anytime in the near future. We shouldn't expect a SummerSlam appearance to advance his angle with Cody Rhodes and John Cena. Okay, so a lot of people were online and says that The Rock is going to show up at SummerSlam and help Cena retain the title. But according to what BodySlam.net is saying, that is not going to be the case. Michael, what do you think about this article?
Um, hope I don't know, it's a difficult one, man. As far as the pot is Cena retaining,
Yeah, I mean, what do you think about what BodySlam.net is saying here? They're saying that there's no indication that The Rock is going to appear at SummerSlam, but I mean, other people are saying that he could show up and help Cena retain.
um, I'm gonna take my guesses and say that The Rock. I don't think that The Rock's showing up anytime soon. Um, and hopefully it. I mean, I love Cena, but this gotta come to an end sometime soon. So,
Right,
I I'd prefer that he doesn't retain. Um, I just think that would be a bad decision to have Rock come back to cost Cody. So I just hope that he doesn't show up and Cody gets the title back would be what I'm hoping happens here.
right. Well, we're gonna preview the SummerSlam card later on in the show. I'm not gonna give you my predictions because next Thursday
Yeah.
I'm going to give you the predictions for SummerSlam on my show, The Wrestling Experience. We're going to have the SummerSlam prediction show, and that will happen next Thursday. And I can't wait to do it because it's going to be great. It's going to be great. I'm going to give you all the matches for night number one, night number two, and it's going to be great. I can't wait to do that. All right, so we agree. We agree with this assessment of bodyslam.net. All right. All right. Documents from WrestleNomics obtained through a public record requested to reveal that San Diego had a budget total of $5 million for this year's Survivor Series at Petco Park. It's not known if the entire amount will be paid to WWE, but it's in line with the site fees paid by Las Vegas for WrestleMania 41 and Arlington, Texas for WrestleMania 38. So if you all don't know this, I'm going to explain this to you. If you want WWE to host an event like a SummerSlam, a Survivor Series, a Royal Rumble, or even a summer, yeah, I even said SummerSlam, any one of those, or even another PLE, you have to pay WWE a site fee. They now charging arenas around this country a site fee. And the site fee is very expensive. It's not cheap. So what they do is they charge the arena the site fee. The site fee then gets paid by the arena, but then we, the consumers, unfortunately will have to pay for the high cost of the ticket. And it is unfortunate, but that is what we're gonna have to deal with from now on going forward. So this site fee was $5 million to get Survivor Series in Petco Park. And to reconfigure Petco Park, it's going to be even more expensive. So look, if you want to go to the Survivor Series at the end of November in Petco Park and be there for history, you're going to have to dig, 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 deep, deep, deep in your pocket and pay for it. Now, SummerSlam, the ticket sales are slowing down because of the high cost of the ticket, because WWE charged MetLife Stadium a site fee. We don't know what the site fee was, but the site fee was probably astronomical, and we have to pay for it in the ticket sales. So, Michael, what do you think about all of that?
It's the doggy dog world, man. How business is. They're gonna go where the money's at. Um, it does suck for people that these tickets is obviously being priced out on by a lot of people. There's no way to afford house mortgages on tickets for some people. So it's looking like nosebleeds and just mediocre tickets for the average, say, wrestling consumer. So that kind of sucks. But I do understand it, and the way that it works is what's driving the price up is that site fee, like you said, it's driving the price up. Somebody has to make up for the money, and unfortunately, it ends up being us. But I also do understand it in the business terms. So I guess it's a good thing for them, a bad thing for us, but it's not much complaining would do to change it because it's going the way it's going.
Right. Yeah, something. Yeah, there's really nothing that we can do about it. We can't fight City Hall. So, I mean, that's just the tale of the tape, folks. Um, when you go to a WWE PLE and everything else, you can tell the difference. Even Raw is getting more expensive now to go to, and SmackDown
Yep.
to attend. It's because of the site fee, folks. That's what it is. That's exact. If the WWE would have eliminated that, then we would pay probably less in the ticket market. But because the WWE has attached the site fee, we're gonna have to pay for it. Um, what did Jeffrey says? WWE is in the business of making money. Yeah, well, now I've
Yep.
said that many times over, Jeffrey. I've said that. I've said that many times over. That's what it is. And Jeffrey says we might see a double turn with Cody being heel and Cena turn back to babyface. I don't know. I don't know if I want to see that again. I like it the way it is. Now, now, now. Here's the thing with Cena. I like his heel turn. Don't get me wrong. I like the heel turn. The heel turn is fine. What I have a problem with is the way they're ending his matches on a whack fashion. The ending is whack. I don't know about Michael. I can't speak for him, but for me personally, the ending to his matches is whack. He got nothing in his repertoire. All Cena does is kick you in the coconuts and then smack you upside the head with the title, and then he said he takes out a legend. You didn't do anything. You didn't even hardly do anything in the match. What are you talking about? What are you referring to? Are you blind? You see the thing is, and the thing is that they think the wrestling fans are dumb. We're not dumb. We saw the match. We seen the ending. It was whacked. I mean, come on now.
Yeah, they need to get
I
a little
mean,
bit more creative.
yes, yes. I mean, you can't just sit there and do the same ending over and over and over again because it's becoming redundant. It's too much. It's too much already. I mean, enough already. Give him something to do. Why can't I don't you see I don't know if you ever watched my show, Michael, but I always say it like this. And I always say it's like this on my show all the time. Why is everybody so allergic to clean finishes? Why are you allergic to it? Why are you allergic to it? Why are you allergic to it? I grew up on clean finishes. I grew up on clean finishes. As everybody knows, I've been a wrestling fan for 3 decades. Now, come on now. Now, come on now. You can do much better than that. You can think. You have to think outside the box. Come on now.
I agree.
You have to think outside the box. Why do you keep doing these whack finishes? I don't want to see that anymore. I'm sorry. And I better not see that at SummerSlam because I'm going to be there in person. I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that whack finish. I don't. Because then I'll get in the ring and I'll fix it myself. I'll fix it myself. I'll fix it. If you don't want to fix it, then I'll fix it. I mean, come on now. Don't forget the ref bump too. Yeah, yes, Jeffrey. Yes, that. You like that, Jeffrey slapping it. Oh my God. I'm going to Jeffrey say, Earl H. shenanigans. Yes, I do. Yes, I do, Jeffrey. I am an anti shenanigans person. I don't like shenanigans. Um. All right. Let's continue. Dave Meltzer confirmed that the injuries to Will Ospreay, described on Dynamite last night, is legitimate and it's not a storyline. So as you all know, I don't know if you saw Dynamite, Michael, but Will Ospreay came out and he's going to take a hiatus from AEW to rest his injuries that he suffered at All in Texas. And he says that he's had this neck injury now for 10 long months and he kept it away from Tony Khan and he kept it away from everyone else. I don't think that was a smart idea. What do you think about that, Michael?
Um, yes, probably wasn't the best of ideas, but he probably at the point I could kind of see his thinking. He probably wanted to stamp solidify his spot in AEW within the past year, help them get back in the right track. So I do get the thought process, but he probably should have got that neck checked a long time ago. That so I just think it was a bad idea. I do think it's a good idea to take some time off to get it fixed. Because the neck is something that could shorten your career if you don't get it taken care of and you let it get worse. So I think he's making the right decision now. I just honestly wish he probably would have made it a lot sooner than he did.
Yeah, I mean, because let's say for example he took a nasty spill outside the ring, and he injures himself severely where he's in a that happened to Draws. That
Yeah,
happened to Draws. I mean that did happen to him. He
yeah,
he was confined to a wheelchair for the rest of his life.
yeah. I believe it was
I
D'Lo
mean,
Brown. D'Lo Brown was, I think, I know he didn't do it on purpose, obviously, but I believe it was the sit down running power bomb. It
right,
landed wrong, right?
right, yeah,
Man, and
yeah,
Jaws had a lot of potential too.
yeah. He did. He did. It's not good, folks. It's not good to keep that kind of injury from the promoter or your wrestler or anything or your opponent or anything of that nature, because one false move and if you don't do it correctly, that could end your career right there. That could you could come out the next night in a chair, and that is something you don't want. That is something you don't want because then your life is really considerably old because I mean your life is going to be in a chair.
Yeah,
That that's what it. I mean, I don't agree with Osprey. I really did not agree with what he did last night there. I was very shocked at that. But we wish Will Ospreay the best of health, and we hope that he gets better and he gets that injury fixed real soon. Jeffrey said that wasn't smart of him to continue wrestling with it, but I'm glad he's getting it checked out. Yeah, I'm glad too, Jeffrey, and I agree with your assessment. All right. Tony Khan has specific goals and amounts that he thinks Ring of Honor TV rights should command. And he has received offers, none that have come particularly close to Khan's target figure. That from Fightful Select, which reports negotiations for Ring of Honor with Warner Brothers and Discovery did lead to some unexpected deals for Dynamite, weekly Friday replays on True TV. So apparently Mr. Khan wants to bring Ring of Honor to mainstream television, but what channel is he going to put it on? Because he says he doesn't know yet, and he's not getting the figure that he wants. Well, first of all, I don't know how many people do watch Ring of Honor, so
yeah,
I'm not quite sure if putting it on mainstream television was going to work. Jump started.
yeah.
I don't know what you all think about it, Michael. What do you think?
Um, I mean, a few things to say about this. So, first thing, I do know he's being honest with the office because, um, I believe it was CW. I think asked him about Ring of Honor before the NXT deal even happened, and he just declined to even do anything with it. I think there was a few other networks around like that long ago. Now, I don't know what he's looking for a dollar amount. Um, Probably may well. Here's the thing. I don't know the negotiations or what they're talking about. So if say he's talking to a network and he has an internal roster, because I know right now
Hmm.
there's maybe only 6 people from watching it. Like for me watching it, maybe 6 to 15 people that are kind of like mainstays on ROH. Some of them more mid-level or lower level talent or newer, I should say. And then you got your heavy hitters, which have been actually crossing over lately, which is like Athena, Billy Stocks, along that line, right? Um,
Right.
Now if you're in a negotiation and you're showing them a roster, and for example, say he's telling them, I I'm putting Wardlow on the Ring of Honor roster when he comes back, and I'm gonna put Camille over there. Say if he's actually putting a roster together, I think he should stop worrying about the money. Not saying you want to take a loss, but right now you're paying to run it anyways. So if a TV company or a TV station will give you a 1 or 2 year deal, even if it's lower than what you want, personally, I think you put the roster together and you put the people in place to run the show, and you see how it
Right.
goes. If it's worth as much as you think, the show will show that. But you gotta right now, Ring of Honor, and I watch it weekly. They're not in a position to demand a big TV deal. There's a lot of things they would have to fix or explain to get a big TV deal, you know? So I think right now the biggest thing is i- getting a little bit more on the roster together where so we know what the ROH roster is. Um and focusing a little bit more on the storylines and stuff like that on Ring of Honor and get it on anything. Don't worry about a blockbuster TV deal right now. You got to get it on somewhere and start somewhere. So I see all aspects of it. I just don't think they're worth a big deal now. But I do get what his thinking is. I my personal opinion is I think he just needs to work a way out to get the library and have it weekly on Max. They're already your business partners. It's like I don't understand where the venturing out comes from. Like I feel like that's something Max should work out with you to get Ring of Honor on their platform. The library up there in weekly streaming. It seems like it's right there to be had, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I mean the deal with Max to bring Dynamite on as a partner. I thought that worked with AEW. I thought that worked because if you can't get TBS, then you can go to Max. You can easily go to Max. But like you said brilliantly, Michael, I don't think that this Ring of Honor should be put into a spotlight where you want to put him on a big television show. Because let's say the ratings tank. Let's say the ratings tank and nobody watches it. It's a big flop. It's a
Exactly.
big flop. And what's going to happen then? How embarrassing would that look to Tony Khan if this is a flop
I
and
agree.
nobody watches it? Because I'm going to tell the reason why I said that is I don't know if you've seen my Twitter feed, Michael, but I had a poll. I had a poll on my Twitter feed.
Yep.
Okay. I asked the people, do you watch Collision? Overwhelmingly, you all said no. I don't watch Collision on Saturday nights. I don't watch it. So that's a tall tale sign right there. That's a tall tale sign. So if you don't watch Collision, I'm quite sure you're not going to be watching Ring of Honor when if they put it on any day of the week.
Not without letting people know what the roster is. Like
Right,
you need to separate it from AEW for it to be treated as a separate entity. You know, um,
right,
I think that they should have been using it similar to NXT this whole time. You know, have your people there build them up and do call ups. Just change the system a little bit. But it's just Ring of Honor's, you're right. It's not equipped to demand high ratings on a weekly episodic TV. It's just not right
right.
now.
No. And like Michael just said brilliantly, we don't even know what the roster is. We have no idea what the women's roster looks like. What's the men roster look like? Who's writing the storylines? Who's the general manager? Who's running this show?
Yep.
We don't got none of that in place. We don't have none of that in place. So you can't really put it on television because you're going to confuse the audience. And I'm going to tell you this much. I don't speak for wrestling fans, but I know one thing. If somebody is confused and watching it on TV, they're not going to watch it.
Yeah.
They're not going to watch it because it's not structured. And that's the thing. You see Raw and SmackDown on TV, that's structured TV. We already know who the roster is. We already know who the general manager is. We already know who's running the show, who's running the storylines, who's running the whole thing. We already all know all of that. So all that formula is in place. That's why it goes up and down in the ratings highway. Because there are sometimes where it's a good episode, and then there are sometimes it's not a good episode. So I mean, but we know what we're getting. That's the thing. With Ring of Honor, you're not sure what you're getting.
Agree.
Um. All right. Let's go to the chat and see what happens. I know. I only know Athena, Billy Starks, and Red Velvet for the women. Yeah, well, Jeffrey, that's not a great roster,
Yeah, and
right, Earl?
and
Yeah,
Philly look like they're being called up too. They don't look
right.
like they'll be there much longer. And Red Velvet, I believe, is injured. Hopefully, she's one of my favorites. But hopefully she gets healthy and she gets called up soon. So that
Yeah.
they're just they're lacking depth to say the least.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. How about promoting Ring of Honor on Dynamite? Well, you see the problem with that, Jeffrey, is that if you promote Ring of Honor on Dynamite, now you're taking away the star power from Dynamite. You understand what I mean? That means that the matches on Dynamite and the storylines going forward will be put in the back burner, and you don't want to do that because then you'll tank Dynamite. And you can't do that because there are times where Dynamite is good, and then there are times that Dynamite isn't good. So you have to keep the focus here, Jeffrey. That's the problem. Exactly. Locking a lot of stars. Right, exactly.
Yeah, like what I'll give you my quick opinion on what I think should have been done with Ring of Honor, and I don't know their relationship, so this could be a non-possibility. But what I would have liked to see happen is Tony should have just pulled in Scott D'Amore. Asked him if
Yes.
he wanted to write for Ring of Honor and let him run Ring of Honor alongside MLP Wrestling, Maple Leaf Pro. So he could have had Ring of Honor working with Maple Leaf and been writing everything because he's done this before for episodic TV. Um,
Right.
that's what I think. Like something like that. If you had Scott D'Amore running Ring of Honor and using um talent that he's using for his wrestling right now, alongside the ROH guys with his own roster, um, it might change how I would feel about them being able to do decent weekly. Um, I think
Right.
he could probably, and I'm not saying that it would jump off and be on TNA level, but I think if they rebranded ROH alongside Maple Leaf Pro, let us know Scott D'Amore was running it, and they announced like 25 people, and it was like big names in those 25 people. I think
Mm-hmm.
Scott could get something started by the time that Ring of Honor episode 1 comes out. He probably could have it close to TNA, like rating wise, maybe. But
Right.
but it would take a lot. You know what I mean? So for Tony to think he could do it himself, I'm and it's not that I'm not confident in Tony, it's just the man's doing too much. You got football, you got soccer, you got
Yep.
analytics companies, you got AEW 2 nights a week. You gotta let somebody else do something, my brother. You gotta pass the torch to somebody.
Right, and I agree. I agree. I have said this many times over, Michael, on my show. I've said this many, 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 many times over. I had said that Scott Demore should have been hired immediately after he left NA. He should have been hired immediately. Tony Khan should have just sat there and said, "You know what? I have gold here. I'm gonna scoop this guy up. I'm gonna pick this guy's brain, and I'm gonna do a separate brand." See, now if you would have done that. If you would have done that, you ran Dynamite, he ran Ring of Honor, and he would have put the roster together, you would have had possibilities of endless
Yes.
of endless.
Yep.
Your buy rate for Ring of Honor pay per view would have went through the roof.
Yep.
Because people would want to watch. They would want because now you have something structured. You
Yep.
have a general manager. You have a roster. You have a men roster. You got a woman roster. You got great storylines. You got great champions. All of that winning formula you could have had in Ring of Honor,
Yep.
and then you could have turned around and said to the investors, "Well, now look what I've done from the ground. I took the weeds and now I made it into a beautiful garden."
Yep.
And then you would have had a TV deal right then and there. Maybe you would have gotten the CW11. Maybe you would have gotten other things.
Yep.
But
That's
you're hoggish. You want to do things yourself. You're pig-headed and you're stubborn.
he seems like he has severe trust issues as far as when
Yeah.
it comes to his specific ventures. And I don't know if that has to do with something he went through, but you can't do everything yourself, bro. Like you said,
No, you can't.
he's stubborn as hell. Like,
Yeah,
I mean,
I
but
agree.
good for him thinking, he brings the word multitask to a whole new level. Like
Yeah, it does.
he's trying to like do multitask times two, and that's why sometimes you can see that once in a while something's a little bit thrown together. And I get it. I mean, you got to sleep, you got to eat. There's a bunch of other stuff you got to do. But man,
Right.
listen, you got to trust somebody. You got to give somebody, even if you give them 6 months to a year at a time. You could have hired Scott and gave him a year with Ring of Honor and seen what he did. And then if it's not working, you change it. But
Exactly.
yeah, if but you doing it all just I don't know. I think Ring of Honor is paying for that right now because you're doing too much, you know?
I agree. And the thing is like I said and I agree on what I said about the statement a while ago. What I said in the statement, if you would have just scooped him up,
Yeah.
if you would have just scooped him up and then cultivate a plan and he would have ran with it. He would have ran with it. Because look what he did to TNA. Look how
Yeah.
he turned that company around. Look at that. Look at their numbers. And then if it wasn't for Scott Demore, all those people in TNA wouldn't have gotten paid. Scott Demore went out there and he made sure the television crew got paid. The
Mhm.
advertisers got paid. The investors made sure that they put in their money correctly. And Sutherland did all of that behind the scenes. He did all of that. He squashed every single disgruntled employee back there
Yep.
who was disgruntled about working for TNA. He squashed it all by giving the wealth out to everybody and make sure everybody was on equal footing before they got rid of him.
Yeah. And
So
wrestlers
go
love the
ahead,
wrestlers.
Michael.
It's all right. No, I was just gonna throw in the wrestlers love him too. So he's a great person to have on your side.
Exactly. And he's not like Tony Khan. You don't tell his talent, oh, just send me an email. No, Saturday Moore goes out and he said, "What's the problem? What's the problem? Let me fix it." And he goes back in, he goes fix it. And before you know it, it's squashed. You don't see it on X. You don't see it in newspaper. You don't see it. No, you don't see the talent bashing him or anything. No.
I think Scott definitely has the upper hand over Tony in talent relations. Um, he- he's honestly just I think he's just been in this industry a lot longer. And
Hmm.
if you're walking into a TV network or a TV station meeting and you're saying you want a TV deal for Ring of Honor and they're saying, what do you think you could do with it? I think Scott probably could handle that conversation and get you a deal all by himself if he wanted to. Because he has, like you said, with the TNA stuff, he has the backstory to tell him I plan to do this again, but better, you know? And with more creative control, I think Scott could do a lot more. I mean, I don't think we've seen the best in because when you're watching his events he's throwing right now, they all look like pay-per-views, bro. Like go look at the events he's
Hmm.
throwing. So I mean that I just hope one day he lands on his feet somewhere in another TV network because he deserves it, man.
Yeah, I mean, this is a no-brainer. This was a no. I mean, if I was on the AEW brass, I would tell Tony, God, listen, don't be stubborn here, dude. Dude, did you see the internet? Did you see that they just let Scott the move? He's got to come here.
Yeah, it's like I,
He's got to come here. He's got to
maybe he
come
did
here.
though. Maybe Scott didn't want to sign. I'm hoping Tony called him the minute he seen that. Because Tony definitely doesn't have no problem lending him talent because there's AEW wrestlers all over his shows. But it's like
Right.
you gotta hope that Tony at least tried to do that. There's gotta be something holding it up.
Yeah, I don't know if he called him. I don't know if he spoke to him or not. But I think that was a disservice. That was
Yeah,
a big disservice. That was a big mistake because I'm quite sure. First of all, I know for a fact that he would have probably turned those ticket sales around in AEW. I know that for a fact. That would have been turned around immediately. I know for a fact that he would talk to each and every one of those people on the AEW roster, and he would tell Tony Khan, "We got to split them up. Gotta split them up. Ship them over to Ring of Honor, and let's structure this. Let's get this going, and then have a business plan put together, and then have Scott run Ring of Honor with that new roster, and you stay here with AEW, and you run this roster, and let's get this party started."
yeah,
That's what should have happened. That's what should have happened. But Tony Khan, he's very stubborn and he's set in his ways. And I don't know if he ever spoke to Scott. I don't know. I don't work there. I don't know what happened. But I know one thing is when I saw that he wasn't, that he did not speak to Tony Khan or to anyone else, it was a disservice. I was just heartbroken because as a fan, he could do so much with that roster and what he could do with AEW and how he could fold it and mold it into something that we've really I don't know, man. I
yeah.
don't know.
TNA looking great with not much of a roster to work with. So you could
Right,
imagine if he with him having like a lot of talent at his disposal, just
right,
imagine what he could do. You know,
exactly,
that's
exactly.
that's I mean, hopefully one day because right now, if you went on Twitter and you just if Tony posted right now, tweeted, I've just hired Scott Demore to rebrand the new Ring of Honor. Details coming soon. Dot dot dot. People would go batshit right now, and they'd be
Right,
intrigued to see what's to come. All you would have to say
right,
is we're announcing the men's roster this Friday and the women's roster next Friday, and wait for
right.
Scott's interviews. Everybody would be waiting. They'd be waiting to eat out the
That's
podium.
right.
You
Yep.
know?
We would be waiting for bated breath for
Yes.
that press conference.
Yep.
Because I would be the one to go on that internet and watch that press conference from beginning to end. I want to know exactly what you're going to do. And I want to know exactly what direction are we going into here. Because without one, you're not going to be successful.
Yeah, I mean, think of it like this. Imagine Scott Demore dropping a Ring of Honor press release and walking out to the podium with Wardlow and Camille and letting you know that two American gladiators are actually going to be in Ring of Honor when the show
Right,
rebrand. Like it just these ain't even two wrestlers you're using right now. They're technically just taking time off to do other ventures, right? So if
right.
you brought them two back, they both look like your typical wrestler. Wardlow just he looks like a wrestler. Camille looks like she looks like a gladiator. The gladiators picked the right two people, right? So something
China
like that.
2.0, that's what I call her.
There you go. Yep, just with the blonde hair. But that something like that would instantly intrigue people with Ring of Honor. You know, instantly. Um, Ace Austin, maybe he announces his first signing to the new Ring of Honor is Ace Austin. You know that's Scott D'Amore's one of his closest wrestlers that he worked with. So
Right,
something like this is what you got to do for Ring of Honor to get it has to get a spark to catch fire. Right now it doesn't
right.
even have a spark. You know, you gotta start something.
Doesn't he have a wick?
You gotta they do have Athena. That's about it when it comes to Ring
Right,
of Honor.
right. But let's go to the chat and see what's going on here. Jeffrey said, I would actually watch Ring of Honor if that happens. Yeah, I would too, because it would be, you don't know what would be going on week after week. You would want to watch. You would want to get that television channel it was on, because you don't know what's going to go on. Exactly. Um, let's revamp this whole brand. Yep, I would agree with that. Scott is a boss, not a buddy boss. Like TK, yeah, that is true. That is something that is the difference between Scott Demore and Tony Khan. See, Tony Khan, when he hires a wrestler, he's a fanboy, and he goes after them. He runs after their tail, and he wants to be a part of them and all of that. Take them out to dinner. Scott Demore is not like that. He is business first. He ain't taking you out on no dinner. You're the talent. I'm the honcho. Let's get that clear. Let's get that clear. I'll respect you as a talent, but that is as far as it goes. And that's what I like about him. That's the difference between him and Tony Khan. Um, yeah, that's the difference. That's the difference. He's the reason it's called TNA again. That's correct. He is a stubborn little man. He certainly is.
Most billionaires are. Most billionaires are.
Yeah.
Funny when
Problem is, yeah. Listen, the problem is TK doesn't want nobody above him. Well, that's too bad. I mean, come on now. I
I mean,
mean,
I don't know about that, man. If he didn't want nobody above him, I don't think he'd be so buddy buddy with these guys.
right, exactly. That's true.
I think that what Tony should have done from the beginning, and don't get me wrong, because he hasn't been writing for a long time, and he's getting a lot better. But
Right,
you could have hired writers off the bat, and you could have been friends with everybody if you wasn't the one handling the contracts. Um,
exactly.
it's like, look at, if you wasn't really, nobody knew who you was, nobody would care which wrestlers you choose to be friends with or fly around the world with, you feel me? But the fact
Exactly.
that he handles everything, it does sometimes look like a conflict of interest. But I mean, every job, every boss, every owner has their favorites, unless they're not in the building, you know?
Exactly. Penta Settled, how are you tonight? How are you doing, Penta? Thank you for stopping in tonight. Don't forget to hit the like button. Everyone in the chat, make sure that you smash that like button. Thank you very much. Yeah. Um, all right, folks. So that is the story on Tony Khan and TV. All right. Since opening, SummerSlam odds at outlets like Bet Online have shifted increase to the likelihood of Cody Rhodes, Jay Cargill, Naomi, Lara Valkyria, Randy Orton, and Jelly Roll winning their matches at SummerSlam. CM Punk is still favored, but the odds of beating Gunther have reduced since the match announced AJ Styles for the Intercontinental Championship. Dom Mysterio is a toss-up. Solo Sokoa remains a slight favorite, and Charlotte and Alexa are big ones in their matches. Roman and Jay opening as a favorite in their tag team match as well. So, what do you think of this bet online thing, Michael, and their odds of these wrestlers winning at SummerSlam?
Um, Personally, I don't like those. it's like it's like
Yeah,
everybody's trying their hardest to like ruin everything in wrestling nowadays. Ruin supply.
right,
Now they want to get to the point where it's like, look, it don't this you gotta know who's the winner, you know?
right,
So I don't really like them, but once again, it's a business. I understand it, and I understand where they're going for, and I do also understand with all the gambling that's going on, they're trying
right,
to they're trying to find ways to implement. And remember, this is scripted TV, so it's a little difficult when you're talking gambling, right? So the fact that they're trying to find a way to cross over to that, I guess I don't mind the percentages. I try to avoid them,
right.
but most of those percentages look pretty accurate as far as who I would think the winners would be.
Right. Well, like I said, next Thursday, folks, we are going to have the SummerSlam prediction show. I am going to break down the entire card from soup to nuts, and I am going to bring you my hot takes and my thoughts on the matches and who I think is going to win at SummerSlam. We're going to do that next Thursday. I can't wait to do that show. And I cannot wait to get to the Prudential Center in Newark, New Jersey for the kickoff of SummerSlam weekend. I'm going to be in the house in Newark for the SmackDown's Go Home show. It's going to be a fun time inside Newark. I can't wait. This has been 7 long years since the WWE has even graced the state of that state in New Jersey, and we're gonna go back to that arena. And I can't wait to get back to the Prudential Center. I love that arena. It's a fun arena. It's a great arena, and the WWE will be returning to that arena. I hope not in the not distant future, and I hope they will return as many times as they want to. Um. So, all right. So that's the deal on that. All right, the WWE filed a trademark on Super Brawl this week, filing the term from last July. It's still active, so it's not clear why they refiled on WCW's pay-per-view name. So it looks like NXT. If you all don't know, NXT has a couple of WCW PLEs. They
Yep.
have the Great American Bash. They've got Halloween Havoc, and now it looks like they're going to be getting Super Brawl. So I don't have an issue with it. I don't have an issue with it
I like it.
whatsoever. I don't have an issue with it. What say you, Michael?
I like it. I think that NXT kills it with usually when they use a WCW theme, they kill it. Like look at the presentation of the Great American Bash. Look at the
Right,
Halloween Havoc presentation. Um,
right,
they pick names. I think NXT is good with well, not just saying that's them picking them, but the WCW names that are being given to NXT are like names that are perfect for setups that NXT is setting up as far as
right.
staging presentation. So I love it, and I'm looking forward to see what they do with this one. I have a few ideas in my head, but I think that this setup is going to be another smack out the park. I think they'll nail it.
Yeah, I think you are absolutely right, Michael. I think that I think if this comes to fruition and they give it to NXT and they do another PLE with them, I think they will nail this. They will nail this because so far, I mean, look at what they did with In Your House.
Yeah,
Look what they did within your house.
yeah,
Look what they did with, like Michael said, with the Great American Bash. Look at Halloween Havoc. So they nail these themes. They nail these themes. They give it to NXT and they said run the ball with it, and they do, and they nail it. The PLE is very successful. It's highly successful. So if they give them this Super Brawl, which I would believe that they would do it probably in October before Halloween Havoc or before I mean maybe late September, I don't have a problem with it. I don't have a problem with it. I don't. I
yeah.
good luck with the W. What was that, Michael? I'm sorry.
No problem at all for me.
Nope, I don't have a problem with it. No. Let's go to the chat and let's see what happened. Um, NXT WCW theme has been great so far. I have no complaints about it. Yeah, Jeffrey, I agree with your assessment. Take lots of pictures and videos, Earl. I will definitely, Jeffrey. I'll give you a sneak peek inside the Prudential Center. Trust me. Um, I'll try to avoid them too. Okay.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, that bet online. Yeah, I get what you're saying, Jeffrey. Yeah. All right. The last story we got here. In an interview with Battleground Podcast this week, TNA President Carlos Silva says there's a couple of different options he's currently working on for TNA's next media rights deal. So apparently TNA is going to expand on the streaming services. Again, like I said before, and by the way, I don't know if you all saw Slammiversary this past weekend. TNA nailed it. TNA nailed it. 7,650 folks were jammed inside the UBS arena, and they brought the house down with that crowd. I mean, that was absolutely a home run for TNA. I liked it. I didn't see the event itself, but I saw some clips online and I saw what was happening and I saw how people were excited and happy that TNA finally came to the New York, New Jersey market. I I had no problem with it. I had zero issues with it. And congratulations to Silver and his team at NX at TNA. Michael, what do you think?
Um, I mean, as far so first thing, shout out to TNA for their biggest skate at Slammiversary. That's huge. That can't be understated. Um, so they're on the business aspect, the deal looks like it's working for them. As far as the merger with WWE, I think it probably would get them more money in a TV deal, especially if WWE is letting their TV partner know they're gonna continue to work with them. Um, so as far as the partnership, I completely get it. As far as that side of it. As far as a few other things, not so much. I give you the things, right? Right. First of all, I don't mind them letting their belts go outside the company to get more eyes. It's the
Mhm.
same reason why when everybody rags on Mercedes Monet for having, 6, 7 belts, they're not understanding these are companies that you wouldn't even know about if she didn't have that belt. So that's the purpose. She has the belt on TV. Now you're asking what that company is, and maybe you go over there and watch it now. Whether it's a Rev Pro or one of these, smaller independent companies. TNA's obviously a little bit bigger, but I still get it, and I don't mind them putting their titles, in front of more eyes. The only one thing I would wish is, and this probably is, I'd say, the difference between Carlos and Scott D'Amore. If
Yeah.
I'm not mistaken, Carlos doesn't have no history in wrestling. So he's just looking at numbers and dollar amounts, which I get it. That's the way to grow the company, right? But I do believe that he could maybe ask for a few things, or maybe didn't need to fully bend over on certain situations, if you catch my drift. And I don't
Right.
believe Scott would have did that, and that's probably why they ran him out the company before they made that partnership, because I don't think Scott's willing to job out his main roster on the WWE's developmental league, you know
Right.
which is what these the things that would bother me. And this is why I know Carlos is not really like in tuned or really cares too much about the wrestling aspect of it, right? Because TNA for a long time was like the number two, right? Like, get rid of AEW and a few companies. TNA had sparks, glimpses. They kind of always have really been the alternative for a while,
Right.
right? Um, so they're not D leagues. They're
Yeah,
TNA.
exactly.
TNA is like, should be one of those top companies, right? And this is when I kind of felt like it was a problem. And I give you the point of it. I'll try to sum it up quick. I didn't think too deep of it at first, but then when I
Right.
really thought of it, we had AJ come out, right? And a lot of
Mm.
people, I know you might have seen the story how he was supposed to have a segment with Kazarian, but there's a rumor that they couldn't guarantee AJ would work a TNA match because there's been no main roster guys to work TNA. So instead of them having a AJ and Kazarian altercation, like, or argument, war of words, they switched it up last minute and just had AJ do his, glorified TNA speech, right?
Right.
But that's when it kind of struck a nerve with me, and I'll explain it to you. AAA, I know they. little bit different because they bought the company, you know, but they get main roster talent, right? They're not as big as TNA, you
Right.
know. Noah got an AJ Styles match. They also got Omos, main roster talent. It's almost like you're saying TNA isn't good enough in their face. Scott never would have stood up for this. He wouldn't have took it. Like there's no way he would have said like it's not you're not sending, you know, AJ Styles, LA Knight, or any of these guys the job like your job and every time I like let's just call it what it is, right? And you tell me what parts I'm wrong. I get it. Henry got a big pop showing up, right? He also got RKO'd in a matter of 3 seconds and thrown out
Right.
but a beat. You know, didn't just that's their top guy, right? Moose already did the job to Oba Femi, right? Both their
Right.
champions just did the job. Now, this is the part that disturbs me. I love Oba. He should be trying to learn from Moose. Moose shouldn't have been doing that job, right? That's one. Same thing with Masha and JC. Masha is the superior talent right now, right? JC's
Okay.
the one. JC's the one on the come up. So you're jobbing people that are already there for people you're trying to make. In the long run, these might be moves Carlos lives to regret because here's the thing that I see coming. It not WWE could buy them. That's always a possibility. But the
Right.
problem I see coming is Hendry is gonna walk out that door to WWE. They already basically negotiate with him. Moose, I believe, will inevitably leave for WWE. I believe Masha probably would do the same thing, and they're already talking about Mike Santana. Those four people walk out. I don't think Carlos realizes if you're not in tune with wrestling, by the time you get that TV deal, you might not have no good wrestlers. It's like so, or no top people, anyways. So that's the part. The only one thing that I think that he needs to be careful with, because I do think it will. It's been working out. It's looking good, but there is a track record of WWE burning you out at the end of that, right? And
Hmm.
and I just don't want that to happen to TNA. You know?
Yeah, I think I know exactly what you're driving at. Yeah, and I agree with the assessment here. What you're basically saying is that they're trying to bury the talent and they're trying to burn the talent to the point where you don't have any more control over that talent, and then they just scoop them up and they pluck them from the tree of TNA and put them in the tree of WWE. The only problem that I would have on the WWE side of the coin is that you're going to balloon the roster to too much.
Yeah,
And then what will happen is that, oh, WWE, they just announced on Twitter we have a mass release.
yeah,
And then here comes the names, boom, 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 16 names, 17 names.
yep,
Cut the piggy from the fat because TKO is gonna freak out. The board of directors is gonna freak out. You got two men on the roster. That's too much money. We can't give these people all this money. Cut that roster. Cut that piggy from them. So that's the problem that I have.
yeah. The one
That's the scary part about it. Go ahead, Michael. I'm sorry.
no, just to add in because I want to hear your perspective. But the one thing that I would like to see them do, and this is just, I think that this would also be a super benefit for TNA.
Right.
And this is a difficult ask because remember WWE typically don't play fair, but this is a new conglomeration of owners. It's TKO now. I'm sure dollars make sense, right? So
Hmm.
if somebody sits down with them and explains something that makes sense and makes money or saves
Right.
money and makes sense, I'm sure they'll listen. Um, I think they need to copy the method that AEW and, for example, New Japan or CMLL are doing. The dual contracts, like
Right.
Kevin Knight signed to New Japan and AEW. So
Mhm.
they're probably splitting the tab, giving him what he wants, right? You both
Right.
can book him, right? You just gotta work around it. Same thing with Takeshita, same thing with
Right.
Hechicero with CMLL and
Right.
AEW. I would prefer WWE do that with them. Like if you announce right now Joe Hendry signed to NXT and TNA, it would be better than kind of knowing he's walking out the door because you you gotta like it's a way to protect TNA. If they're your real partner, there's gonna be guys and ladies that come up and they can't afford right now, right? So
Right.
you doing the dual contract ensures they get to keep talent, which helps your partnership. You see what I'm saying? So
Right.
I would just like to see them do that. If there's some people you gotta take, we get that, right? But if there's some people you can pay a little bit of money on top to use the talent here and there and let them stay in TNA, it's only gonna strengthen them for you. And I think I would like to see them go that route with me personally.
Yeah, I agree with that assessment. I agree with that because here's the thing. Here's the thing. Um, you don't want to put them on the main roster. And then all of a sudden, you don't have anything to do with them creatively. Now you're going to sink them in the low and the mid card
Yeah.
until you put them in catering and then you release them. So
Yep.
that's something you don't want to do. That's something you don't want to do. But like you said, Michael, and you said it greatly and brilliantly, um, you should, if you're going to call them up, push them over on the TNA on the NXT side, and then this way they can strengthen that roster up. And then this way, if you do release someone from the main roster, well, now you can fill that donut hole. You can fill that donut hole by bringing them over from NXT. You see what I mean? Hold that to the side as your chips. You don't put everything on the poker table. You put everything on the side, and then if something should happen where you decide, well, one day this wrestler is no good for us anymore, we're gonna get rid. Then you can fill that donut hole and then take it from, pluck them right there from NXT and then put them on the main roster. That's the way I'm thinking.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. But I just want to see them. I I I know that right now ratings, more people are watching TNA. They're selling more tickets than I mean, biggest Slammiversary ever, right? So I'm sure they're
Right,
killing it with merch. Um, I just want to see WWE put their stamp on something like that, like they really got TNA's back. That's what I would like
right.
to see happen.
Yeah, I agree with that assessment. I agree with that assessment.
On
Um,
On the viewer side, though, it's been amazing to see the crossover between NXT and TNA.
right, exactly. Um, all right, folks, that was the wrestling news. That was the wrestling news. And yeah, like I said, we went over all the wrestling news of the day. And I agree with what Michael was saying about the TNA and the roster and everything else. And like I said, you don't want to put all your cards on the poker table. You want to save as much as possible, and you want to just draw it back and dial it back a little bit because what you don't want and what you don't want to happen is an embarrassment to TNA and WWE with the partnership. You don't want to fill up the roster so much with then all of a sudden you have to do this press release on X and all of these other social media platforms, and then you have to say, well, we had to cut this and cut back this, and yeah. So rather than go through all that headache and sorrow with the fans, you would want to, if you're going to call them up, then just put them in the NXT pile and say, we'll stockpile them, and then if something happens on the main roster, then we will call that person up,
Yep.
and then we will deal with them accordingly. That's how strategic you should be when
Yep.
it comes to roster moves and ladder moves and literal and Yeah, that's what you need to do.
Yeah,
That's what you need to do.
and there's one other thing that I would like to see, and this is kind of a just generalized to all companies. I think they need
Right.
to think about this. So when I say this, specifically WWE and AEW, um, when they have like for example, there's I mean handfuls of people right now that you could bring up that are not injured and not doing anything, right? Um, they I don't know what you would call it, but I look at it like a loan program. If you gotta like Scorpio Sky came back recently, right? But there was like 2 years he
Right.
didn't wrestle. He's been healthy, been off,
Right.
off TV, whatever. Same thing with like what Omos is doing, right? They
Hmm.
they need to take these wrestlers and lend them out to your partners. I mean, unless like the
Hmm.
wrestler doesn't want to go, that you're not gonna tell a guy go to Mexico, Japan, other side of the United States, regardless where it is, if they don't want to go and they don't have to, right? But I think that if you have, say for example, WWE has someone that they have no story for him, no booking, they haven't even thought about it, and the person's been on the shelf for 6 months. Why not
Right.
call AAA or TNA or Noah and say you want me to send this wrestler so and so for a 6 month excursion, and let your business partner utilize these wrestlers that are just sitting around doing nothing. They're being paid anyways,
Right.
So I just wish that the WWE and AEW would do more of that, so we could stop hearing about benched wrestlers. We could just see them doing other things until you decide to use them. Um, and that's, I mean, I feel like WWE has so many wrestlers right now. They literally could lend to TNA probably for the whole year, and it
Right.
literally wouldn't affect them, but it would be huge for TNA, you know?
I agree. I agree. And everything. Everything will sort itself out, and everything would be a win-win situation for everyone involved. Um, and the notoriety that you did it everything smartly, and then that's the most important thing here, that you did everything smartly
Yeah,
and strategically, in the chess pieces,
yeah.
and know exactly what you're doing. All right, folks, we are going to preview now SummerSlam 2025. All right. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go down the matches. I'm not going to give predictions because that'll be for next Thursday. We're not doing predictions. What I'm going to do is I'm going to ask Michael every time I talk about a match. I'm going to ask him about the build for the match. How does he think about the build for the match?
Yeah.
And everything else. Now, Michael, you are more than welcome to join me next Thursday on the prediction show and give me your thoughts and predictions on it. The door is open. The experience door is open. It's
Got
not a forbidden door. It's not a forbidden door. So,
got you.
um, yeah. So, um, all right. Let's just go down to the list here. All right. We have 10 matches for you so far. So far, we have 10 matches. All right. Randy Orton and Jelly Roll will take on Drew McIntyre and Logan Paul. All right, folks. If you all didn't remember, let's dial it back to Saturday night's main event. Jelly Roll was in the corner of Randy Orton. Randy Orton took on Drew McIntyre. Orton won the match. He then claimed more Jelly Roll. Logan Paul came out and he wanted to join the party. We now have a tag team match. But here's the thing. Here's the thing now. Now here's the problem that I have. And this is going to be a big problem for WWE. Jelly Roll can't wrestle. Come close to the TV ropes. Jelly Roll can't wrestle. He's not a wrestler. He's a performer. He can't do a cartwheel. He can't climb the top rope. He can't give a clothesline. He can't do anything. All he can do is probably sing the wrestler to death. But that's not a talent. That's not a
He
talent.
has an impressive choke slam though.
Yeah, well, that you can't just have that in your repertoire.
I
You
feel you.
can't.
I just felt I throw it out there.
I know, but you can't have that in your repertoire. I mean, what, you gonna tag him and he's gonna choke slam, then he's gonna go out, and then you're gonna tag him back and he's gonna choke slam and then you're gonna tag him out. I mean, come on
Might
now,
be all he can
come on.
do.
No, come on now. I mean, what about a body slam? What about a whip to the rope? How about a short clothesline? How about something like that? Something else in your repertoire.
Yeah.
But okay, all right, folks. All right, this match is gonna happen. I don't know what's gonna happen. I'll predict it next Thursday. But I'm gonna go to Michael. Michael, what do you think of this build, and what do you think of the match itself?
That little segment on the talk show, I believe it was, that had Jimmy Fallon, was pretty funny. But
Yeah,
I
yes,
mean, I just asked you what build. It's really
yeah, exactly.
what build it
Yeah,
is.
yeah, exactly. Thank you very much. The audience is filed out, and we're done for the night. Thank you very much. Yeah, there is no build to this match, folks. There is no build.
Yeah.
But like I said before, Orton is going to carry this tag team match 99% of the time. Don't expect Jelly Roll to come in there and from the top rope and give a clothesline, or he's going to do a plunger, or there's not going to be nothing like Michael brilliantly said. All he can do in his repertoire is a choke slam. That's it. That is it. That nothing else. He's not going to do anything else. So if you're looking for something spectacular in this match, look to Orton, not Jelly Roll.
Yeah.
So I'll give you my prediction next week on what is up. But that's what we think of. Yeah, no, Jeffrey. No, he can't do a torpe suicida. No, he can't do that. No, I don't want to see Jelly Roll do that. I don't want to see Jelly Roll do that. No.
He's working on a standing moonsault.
No. Oh, okay. All right now. All right now. I'm gonna be watching that live. I don't know if I want to see that. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I digress. Oh my God. No, no, Jeffrey, no. Let's go to the chat and see what else is going on. I'm sure he can bump. I don't know about that. I don't know. I you know.
We'll see.
Are you gonna see a splash? I guarantee you. I don't know. I'm kind of nervous about this match, to be honest with you. Um, yeah, okay. Um, yeah. What else? I agree with y'all. Not too much fingers in the cookie jar. Yes, I agree with you. He's talking about that Ring of Honor thing. Okay. Yeah. Let's see what else. Jeffrey, you like that, Jeffrey? All right. So that's the match with Randy Orton and Jelly Roll. All right. The Women's Intercontinental Championship. Becky Lynch will take on Lyra Valkyria. Now, if you all didn't see Monday Night Raw, there is a stipulation in this match. Okay. And the stip goes like this. If Becky Lynch beats Lyra Valkyria and she retains, Lyra Valkyria will no longer have to get a title match against Becky Lynch. She won't ask for it again, as long as Becky Lynch is the champion. Now, Becky Lynch agreed there will be no count out and no disqualification. There must be a winner. Becky Lynch agreed, and that is the stip of the match. Michael, I go to you. What do you think of the build, and what do you think of this match?
This has been long going. I love this build. Obviously ain't gonna give predictions or anything yet. But I think the build for this has been real good since Becky's arrival back on the scene. It's been going literally, I think, since the first day Becky's been back. Her and Lyra been at it. So this is the type of build that I like.
Yeah, these two women have been going back and forth with each other now for months with this in the Continental Championship,
Yep.
and this has been going on now for a long time. And I think they need to end it right here and right now.
Yeah.
I think this is the end. This should be the end.
Yep.
I'm not going to give you my prediction. I'm not doing that. I'll give it to you next Thursday. I'll give it to you. I'll give you my thoughts on it. But I believe in my heart of hearts that this should end because Becky Lynch needs to go in another program, and so does Lyra Valkyria. You can't have these two women keep going at it at the same time. It's just
Yeah.
too much. There's other women in the locker room that they could have feud with. Trust me, there's a plethora of women in that locker room that they could feud with.
I think they've had it go on this long because at the end of this feud, which I believe you're right, I believe this will be the last match. And with no predictions because win or lose, I think the results would be the same. This is they brought Lyra to Becky's level. She's one of their next big players. So
right.
this feud, that's what it did. Now, whether she wins or lose, I don't really think that matters. She had a damn near 6 month feud with with arguably the best women's wrestler in WWE, some would say.
Right.
So
And
that's what it was about. I think so the booking did its job to make Lyra.
yeah, I agree with that. I totally agree with that, Michael. I totally agree with that assessment. Um, Jeffrey says Becky Lynch has brought out the fire in Lyra Valkyria. I agree.
Yep.
I agree 100%. He'll surprise us, I'm sure. No, I don't think Jelly Roll's going to surprise us at all. So,
If he surprised
we're
us,
going to leave.
it's because he pulled out a microphone and drops a song mid wrestling match.
You nothing
Lonely
but a
road
liar.
to take
You
you
nothing but
home.
a liar. Anyway, no, you don't sing in a wrestling match. No, dude. Yeah. So this feud with Becky Lynch. Is I like this, but like I said before, I'll say it again, folks. This has to come to an end.
It does need to end.
It does need to end. It has to have an ending to it. Um, love these Irish women going at. Yeah. All right, folks. So that's the Women's Intercontinental Championship. The Women's World Championship match. Naomi versus Io Sky versus Rhea Ripley. Now, I'm going to tell you something, folks. I'm going to say this. I don't know, Michael, if you saw the wrestling experience the last time I was on the air, but we did rewind Women's Evolution. I'm going to tell you this much. This was probably one of the most talked about and thought about and most brilliant way to cash in. Now, this match was woolly, wild, and all over the place. Io Sky and Rhea Ripley literally tore the house down in Atlanta, and the crowd loved it. The crowd went bananas for these ladies. This main event for Evolution was absolutely great. Well, Io Sky accidentally missile drop kicked Jessica Carr out of the ring, and Jessica Carr took her first bump as a referee, and she was laid out on the floor. They brawled on the floor, folks, in the audience, all over the arena. And what did happen? Naomi came out, and this is a ring of brilliance by the booking department. We all talked about Naomi cashing in on Tiffany Stratton and when she's going to do it. But we had no idea she was targeting Io Sky. And I completely forgot, she can cash in on anybody she wants.
Yep.
She can take that briefcase and cash in on anybody she wants. And I totally forgot about it. So when Naomi came out of the curtain and she came down with the official and she said to the ring announcer, "We're going to have a triple threat." So that means that there's no disqualification at this point. The disqualification got tossed out the window, and she used the briefcase on Io Sky and did the split-legged moonsault, and she became the women's champion. It was probably one of the best cash-ins I think I've ever seen in a vastly long time. Um, but but again, there was a little asterisk. Rhea Ripley unfortunately could not beat Io Sky, and she can't get that monkey off her back.
Yeah.
So now here's the thing I'm going to ask Michael. Michael, I'm going to ask you two important questions.
Good.
Question number one: will this match live up to what we saw in Evolution? And two, could we see? Could we see Rhea finally defeat Io Sky in this triple threat match?
Ah. I first things first. I think we could, so it's definitely a possibility we could. Because
Okay.
she's gonna get that offer back eventually, whether it's SummerSlam or somewhere else, it's gonna happen. So it definitely could. Um, no predictions. I just hope
Right.
Naomi don't lose the title that fast. That's why I'm just gonna say it could, but hopefully
Right.
not, right? Um,
Right.
as far as it's gonna be tough. At, I don't think it's gonna be a better match than that other match. It's just
Yeah.
it's so hard. It's like when you go out and you have a match, there's no expectations and you have a banger, right? But then the next
Right.
time you go out and it's like it's gonna be better than that one. It's always a tough task. Like so, I think it will fall short of that. I do think it will be a great match, and it's one of the matches I'm looking forward to. But I think it will fall short of that match. That
Yeah.
that match was too epic, bro. It was just way too epic. It's like
I gave that match, Michael, on an entertainment level because we do this here on the Wrestling Experience.
yeah,
I'll ask the guest, or I'll do it myself if I'm solo.
yeah,
I talk about the entertainment level, and this is on a scale of 1 to 10. The match got a 10, but really, let me tell you something. If it was up to me, I'd have gave this match 100 because
yeah,
this was absolutely one of the best main events of women's matches I
yeah.
have seen in a vastly long time. And this was great.
You got a
And you know
chance
what?
to
Even
surprise. You don't get that much in wrestling no more.
No, mm-mm. And you know what made it even great, Michael? You know what even made it make my heart grow fonder is when the audience was loving it.
Yeah,
Because if you looked on Raw and SmackDown, when a women's match goes on, the people are bored to tears. They
yeah,
are bored to tears. They do not cheer. They don't boo. They don't do nothing but text someone, hey, look, I'm in section 5. Look over here. I'm in or they're sharing a recipe. One of the two they're doing
I think
at the
sometimes
on the seat.
the ladies don't get enough time to cook. Like,
But
cause
that's
they
another
'cause they
thing
got they
too.
got the talent. They definitely got the roster.
Right. But that's what I mean. I mean, it's like, can't you just have some excitement? Don't you? Don't. I mean, didn't you like the last match when the men came out and they were doing their thing, and now the lady come out and now the whole place is booked? I said, I always say this, Michael, and I have this saying: this match should have been booked in a library
Yeah,
because this crowd is dead. This
yeah,
crowd is dead,
yeah.
and I mean they're dead. I mean there is just no life in them.
Unfortunately,
They're
it's
just
happened a
staring
lot
like
more lately than it did before. Like now, I feel like some fans are just mute or disrespectful. It's like
yes.
just cheeraboo, man. Like don't get out of line, and if you're there, try to enjoy yourself.
Exactly. That's what I mean.
Yeah,
I'm sitting here. I'll give an example, folks. I was at Raw in Madison Square Garden this past March. All right. The first match comes out. There was I forgot who the combatants were, but they were in the ring. The men did their thing. Okay, they're gone. We're going to commercial. We'll be back. We're going to bring out a lady. All right, the ladies match come up. 19,000 people went dead. I was just like, what's happening here? You all were whipping it up a while ago. You were making noise and all this stuff. You're throwing the signs up. The lady come out now everybody's dead. Like, what happened? What came unplugged? I was like, what is going on? I'm looking around the whole arena, the whole lower bowl, the upper bowl, the round, and I was like, what is going on here? Do
Yeah.
something. Get out of your seat and whoop it up. I'm like, wow, 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 wow. This is not good, folks. This ain't good. I'm, oh my God, wow. I think if I'm Triple H and I'm sitting in Gorilla and I saw that, I would take that headset off and go on that curtain and be like, "You all need to show more respect to these women. This ain't cool. This ain't cool. You can't do that. You can't do that. There's a baby face in the ring. Cheer for the baby face. Oh, the villain is doing something nefarious. Boo her. Do something.
Yep.
Oh my gosh! Wow. But getting back to Io Sky and this triple threat, I agree with that. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, absolutely. That's
I'm looking forward to this match. I can't wait to watch this match live. And I don't care which night it comes on. I don't care if it's Sunday night or it's Saturday night. I don't care.
doesn't matter.
I really doesn't matter to me. Doesn't matter to me. Bring it out. But again, yeah, I'm tired too. I'm sorry about that. I'm gonna wrap it up in a minute.
That overnight schedule
Listen,
is killing me. That's what it is.
yeah, I know. It's like why even go to wrestling events to be silent? That's
Yeah, you should never hear a
well,
pin drop at a wrestling event. Like you just shouldn't.
no, absolutely not. And yes, Jeffrey, that crowd was lit in ATL. That crowd was lit.
Hell yeah.
That crowd was lit. If they can have that kind of crowd in every arena WWE goes to when they have a women's match, we wouldn't be talking about it anymore.
At all.
No, no, because
We
that
don't want to
crowd
be
was
talking
lit.
about it either. So bring your
No,
energy.
right, exactly. I'm looking forward to the match also. Yeah, I agree, Jeffrey. I'm looking forward to this match. All
Absolutely.
right. The women's championship is Tiffany Stratton versus Jade Cargill. Now, if you all didn't see the Saudi Arabia show, Jade Cargill won the crown. She got the number one contender, and now she's gonna be taking on Tiffany Stratton for the title. So far, there hasn't been really much of a build for this match. There's really not. It's just non-existent. There's no running. There's no face to face. There's no interaction. And we're only a week away from SummerSlam. I don't know why the WWE's not pulling the trigger on this. I don't get this.
Yeah.
I'm kind of scratching my head at that. I'm like, why is there no interaction with these ladies? Michael, what say you?
Yeah, I don't like the build on this one. I I mean, no predictions here, but this is just like an awkward one to me in general. I'm not sure if the Tiffy time title run is working. It's just well for me personally, it's just not. Like I obviously gorgeous women, um, good wrestler. She's getting better, but she just doesn't do it for me. Um, and then Jade. Like Jade's got a lot better, and Jade just looks like a mega star. Like if she walks in the room, you don't even got to know who she is. She just like, what is she doing?
Right.
You know. Um. So I don't know what they could have. This build is about. It's just weird. It's not really existent. It's kind of like similar as Tiffany's title run or what they're doing with Jade. Like I'm just a little confused with all three of these situations. The build is confusing. Tiffy's title title run is getting a bit confusing because this isn't the first
Right.
time that this has happened where it's like not really a build, you know? Um and what they're doing with Jade right now is a bit confusing. Um in this match, I don't know if the chemistry might be a bit confusing when the match gets going. So I just hope they put on a banger, but I don't like the build. I haven't really liked much build in Tiffy's whole title run, to tell you the truth.
Yeah,
So
I agree with you. I agree with the assessment. Because first of all, she comes out like Barbie. That's first thing. That's the first thing that we all notice. Then she with this Tiffy time and everything else. Her title run has been very lackluster.
yeah, like
I don't I just can't wrap my head around that. I'm like all these ladies in the locker room, and then you keep pairing her with Nia Jax, and you're going back and forth with that,
I
and you
didn't
keep
get that
stuffing.
either.
What was that, Michael?
I didn't get that Nia Jax pairing either. That was weird. so,
I just
yes, I don't know.
I mean, how many times can she get a title shot? I mean, it's like you don't have any other lady in the back there. What happened to Julia? What happened to Meechin? What happened to There's other ladies back there. I
Like
mean, come on now.
right now, tell me if I'm wrong. You tell me this, right? Lyra feels like a bigger deal than Tiffy right now. In my
Yes,
opinion, that's without a title, and that
yes.
shows you that like Tiffy's run is getting. If you're gonna turn it around, you better do something fast, or just take the belt off her because there's no way that you should feel that Lyra right now has surpassed her with no belt while she's the women's champion.
I
but
agree.
yeah, so they got to do something.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I agree with your assessment. I agree with your assessment. Um, Jeffrey says they had a video package last week on SmackDown. Yeah, but Jeffrey, that's not an interaction. What I'm talking about is okay. Let's have Tiffy come out and make a promo about SummerSlam in the ring, and here comes Cargill, and she gets in her face, and they got to pull apart. That's
I,
what I mean by an action.
do
That's
you
what I mean.
do you think that the Charlotte and Tiffany Stratton, um, well, I guess we'll call it an off segment when they both off scripted? Do you think that plays maybe a part in why they're not maybe having her do on spot promos right now?
I don't know because the thing is they did went off script a little bit and they shouldn't have. I'm sure both of them were reprimanded by
Yeah,
management.
for sure.
Um I'm quite sure that they were. Um I don't know, Michael. I don't know what it is. I can't put my finger on it because here's the thing: we're less than a week away, and the thing is that the show is coming up very rapidly, and wouldn't you want a pull apart? Don't you want some kind of run in? Don't you want some? Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah, they
I
they
mean,
didn't
it's
they just
like
kinda, like, organically ran this. It's like they just expected it to just line up or something. Um,
yeah, I don't know. I don't know what they're doing. I don't know what their thinking is. I can't wrap my head around
like,
it
and then
because
the crazy part, right? And sorry to cut you off, but Jade
no,
is
no, no, that's okay.
queen of the ring, and her aspect of this story makes total sense. You know, um,
Right.
it's just you gotta feel like there's gotta be more done with Tiffany Stratton. I don't know if it's a character change. Maybe, she needs to bring more viciousness out and get away from maybe that Tiffy time. Because it's not working no more. I
No.
think she might be the reason why this why this build is weird, and it might not really be her fault. It's just the way that her title run's been booked. It just hasn't been good.
No, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. And I have to see what happens here, but they need to put that foot on the gas.
Yeah.
Next week is the go home show for Raw. Then we got next Friday the go home show for SmackDown in Newark. I'm again, like I said, they
You need
gotta put a pedal to the metal with this.
You need big segments on both of those shows. You need on both of
Yep,
them.
exactly, exactly. Okay. All right, let's go to this one. The heavyweight championship match. It is Gunther versus CM Punk. All right, folks. All right. Um, CM Punk won the gauntlet match, and he is the number one contender because Rollins right now is out of the picture. Rollins had, I believe this week he had successful knee surgery. So Rollins is going to be out of action indefinitely. So that means that left the door open for Punk to go into this gauntlet match, and he survived the gauntlet, and he's the number one contender. Now, let me ask you something, Michael. What do you think of the match itself, and what do you think of the build?
Um, I'm gonna give them. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put a not available for this one, and reason being is, um, I can't blame them on this one. I think an injury is what. Because if I say that I don't like the build in this, which I don't really believe there's much of a build, right?
Right,
I know that they didn't do this one on purpose. Injuries happen. So I'm not gonna smash them on this one. I think it was rushed together, but we know actually it was rushed together.
right,
One little thing over the top that I'm just holding out for. I just hope this is all a rouge and Seth plans on cashing in while people thinks he's injured. Because I think that'd be another one of the best cash-ins we probably ever could see. When the dirt sheets and everybody's running around saying that he ripped the ACL or something, and here comes out Seth Rollins to cash in. So I'm holding out for that. But I
right.
don't mind the build. I give him a pass on this one. What says you?
All right. Yeah, I would agree with that entire assessment. Um, Daniel Berry the Sports, how's it going tonight? Thank you so much for popping in, Daniel Berry. Thank you. Yeah, Jeffrey says, "What's up, Daniel?" Um, so yeah, I'm going to agree with you in this assessment. Yeah, there's not much of a build to this match, but there's a lot of intrigue in it as well, because everybody was like, is this injury a work? Well, I know it's not a work. I
Yeah.
mean, I did see him on crutches, so that's not a work. He is injured, but could he hobble down to that ramp and cash it in? And steal the belt and then go heal up and have the belt hostage. I mean that. I mean,
Well,
I
Roman Reigns
could
had belt
happen.
for like 5 years now. So it's
Right. Exactly. Jeffrey says it's not much of a build. No, it's not.
yeah.
But these two men were in the ring this past Monday Night on Raw, and Gunther said he's going to bully him. He's going to bully him, and he's going. And I'm going to tell you something. Everything that Gunther says on a microphone, he does it to influition. He
Yeah.
does because I'm telling you, folks, when he gets that dominant switch and he turns it on, you're going to have a bad day in the office.
Yeah.
Gunther is something not to mess with. He will destroy you when he's on. And when he's on, you better be prepared. You better watch some tapes. You better study because don't take him lightly. Don't laugh at him. Don't make fun of him. Don't try to embarrass him because he will turn around and do it to you, and he will do it in a worse way. He will chop and dice you and put you to sleep, and you won't remember exactly what happened, when it happened, or who he did it to.
Yeah,
And that's Gunther.
he's top echelon talent no matter which company he's at.
Exactly.
One of the
Exactly.
best wrestlers in the world right now.
Exactly. So that's the match between Gunther and Punk. All right, let's continue. Let's continue on here. Let's continue on. We talked about that. Okay. The United States Championship. It is Solo Sokoa versus Jacob Fatu in a steel cage. This is going to be good.
Yep.
This is going to be as good as it gets. And like I said, I'll say it again. I don't care what. I'm going to be there for both nights. I don't care what night this is it. I want to see this steel cage match.
Yes.
I want to see this steel cage up close and in personal. When that cage gets lowered from the ceiling and it comes down and it house these two men. Oh my gosh! I think these two men are going to tear the place up in this cage. I think this is going to be really wild and all over the place. And if you don't think Solo's crew is going to involve themselves in this cage, they don't care if this is a cage. They
Yeah.
don't care if it's a cage. They'll come out underneath that ring. They'll come down that ramp. They'll do whatever's necessary.
Yeah. Agree.
They'll do whatever is necessary. There's gonna be out. I don't like shenanigans. But I have to put a disclaimer on this match because it's going to be marred with shenanigans.
Yeah.
This match is going to be full of shenanigans. I'm going to tell you this much. It doesn't matter what it is. The cage could have a roof on it and they wouldn't care.
Yeah.
Uh, They
Agree.
don't care. This faction doesn't care. They want to get involved. Mm.
Well,
Michael, what do you think of this match in the build?
I love this build. This build's been brewing since the first time we heard Jacob say "I love you" solo. So, I mean, this is long term storytelling, and I'm here for all this. I'll accept the shenanigans. It is what it is. I give them the pass on this match on the shenanigans. But this build has been great. Um, from beginning, I can't say to end because we got to get this match. Gotta line up with what's happened. But I've loved this build all the way up to this point.
Yeah, I'm going to agree. I'm going to agree. And like Jeffrey said, you're going to lock two Samoans inside a cage. Good gosh, we're going to get a good match. Yes, good golly, Miss Molly. This match is going to be woof.
Yep.
He is going to beat him down like nobody's business. And when Jacob Fatu is on, he could be dominant too, just like Gunther. He could be dominant. He could be dominant. And Solo better not take Jacob Fatu lightly, especially in this cage, because I'm going to tell you something. He's going to find ways to win this match. He is going to find a way and means to get out of that cage. Now, let me just explain to you all there are no disqualifications in this cage. There are no countouts in this cage. The only way you could win this match is via walk out the door, your feet must touch the floor, or you get pinned. That is it. That is it. Or you submit. That is it. That is the only way this match is going to end. And you know they know that. You know his faction knows that. Tona Loa, Tone Hikalea, all of them. They're just gonna just come in there and they're going to feast on this match. So I'm gonna give you my prediction next week, but that's what's happening.
That's definitely got to be one of the top three most anticipated matches of the whole card.
Exactly. Exactly. For the Intercontinental Championship. It is Dom Mysterio versus AJ Styles. I'm going to tell you this much. Ever since Dom Mysterio won the Intercontinental Championship at WrestleMania, lackluster. His Intercontinental title reign is lackluster.
Well,
Put it in a hashtag, and put it on X.
you know why they gave him the belt that night? The AAA purchase just happened. Rey
Yep.
Mysterio went out there and said WWE, all that lucha stuff,
Yep.
and they
Mm-hmm.
did him a favor and gave his son the belt the same week.
Yep.
He's not ready for that. It's
No, he's not. It's
and
clear.
Dom has become great, right? But this is the same thing I said when Dom first came on TV. He's not ready, and he wasn't. And you've seen it for months to the point where I doubted he'd ever get good. But now he's actually really good, right? His character work and the in ring is everything is leveled up, right? But he is still not IC champion ready. Like that,
No.
it's
No.
I feel like it was a favor, and that's why it's been so lackluster.
Yeah, and another thing too is, Michael, I have to disagree a little bit, respectfully.
Go ahead.
I have to
Go ahead.
disagree with his in-ring work because he doesn't win his matches clean.
Oh yeah,
See,
he
that's
doesn't.
the problem.
Yeah, yeah,
That's a problem. That's the problem that I have.
yeah.
That's the problem I have. He would be a good wrestler if he would win the match clean.
Yeah, they
And
want to
then he
make him too
shows
much like
that,
Eddie. They trying to make him too much like that Eddie lie, cheat, steal,
yes.
too much. I mean,
And then
Eddie's one of
another,
my favorites, but too much.
yeah, and then he showed us puny, non-existing muscle. Like, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing? You don't have any muscle.
Yeah, and these are the things where I say like he's still not fully developed, and that's why I wouldn't really have put the IC title on him yet. But for the weekend they did it, I do kind of see how it maybe in their mind made sense.
Well, well, he's gonna be taken to the Woodshed Hotel when it comes to AJ. He's
Yeah,
gonna get,
yeah,
he's gonna get his. He's gonna get his because AJ has been patient week after week after week after week. He wanted a piece of him, and he kept showing him that fake doctor's note and all this stuff and all these games he's playing. Well, let me tell you something. When he comes down that aisle
yeah,
next weekend in the Meadowlands, when he walks down that aisle, all right, and he looks across that ring and he see AJ and the timekeeper go ding ding ding, AJ ain't gonna be playing around with him. He ain't
yeah,
gonna be playing around with him. There ain't gonna be no monkeying around with him. AJ gonna mop the floor with him. He's gonna chase him from pillar to post, and he better go up the ramp outside of the stadium and go on the exit ramp back to New York or wherever your hotel is located because AJ is not gonna mess with him. He's not gonna play with him. He's
yeah.
not gonna play with him.
And
And go ahead,
I'm gonna
Michael.
say no prediction, but probably and what I'm gonna say is a little bit of a spoiler if you catch my drift, right?
Uh huh.
I think this may be why they couldn't guarantee TNA a AJ Styles match because I think they have a lot of plans for him his last year there. So I think that this is why they said, look, we don't want to do the Kazarian and line up a match because we need AJ. So I think that read between the lines here. Uh, what do you think about the build though? Have you liked it?
I like the build. I like the little the interaction, the cat and mouse, him dressing up as a maintenance man and all this kind of
Yeah,
stuff, and he dressed up like one of the ring boys, and he's going around and he's chasing them all over. It's just like. It's just like what it's almost like you have a crush on somebody and somebody is just like I don't want to deal with that, you're ugly, go away. That's the way
I feel
it's
like it's old
like.
school. AJ's bringing out old school humor on the young pups, and us old people appreciate it.
Right, exactly. It's almost like, yeah, it's almost like, are we an item or what's going on? Yeah, I'm like, no, now you're being creepy. Go away. That's what it's like. That's what it's like. And he's
AJ's
trying
so
to get.
funny.
Yeah, man. I mean, he's trying to get his claws on him. He's trying to stick his claws on him, and I'm here for it.
Yeah,
I'm here for it. But he's gonna have a bad day in the office.
yeah,
Dom
yeah,
Mysterio is messing around with AJ. He's gonna overthink it. He's gonna take him lightly, and AJ's gonna eat him alive. And that's what's gonna happen. That's what's gonna happen. All right. The women's tag team match. Raquel and Roxanne Perez versus Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair. This is gonna be really interesting. You know something? They were named the tag team champions because of Liv. Liv is out with a shoulder injury for the foreseeable future, so she can't defend the title. She can't be with Raquel. So they gave her Roxanne Perez. Strange bedfellow booking. That's what I call him because she wasn't really welcomed into the Judgment Day. But then finally Raquel melted down and she said, "Okay, well you're here. We might as well be tag team champs." So I think the match is going to be okay. I'm not, going to jump up and down with it. I'm not going to say it's a stellar match or it's going to be a classic or anything like that. I'm not going to jump up and down and say none of that. But I think this is going to be okay for what it is.
Yes.
Michael, what do you think?
Um, Build's a little chaotic, but once again, I don't get discouraged over forced booking when injuries happen because you got to do something, right? And then Charlotte and Bliss, we've been seeing interactions with them for a while now, right? So I look at this like it's a filler match. Honestly, it's like they had to
Right,
fill up the card, 5 matches per night. I'm assuming they're going for, um, and this is probably I love all these ladies, so it's not
right.
them thing, but this is probably my one of my least favorite or one of the matches I'm least excited for on the card. I don't mind the build. I definitely understood that new term you just hit me with as far as the strange bed booking because the Raquel and Roxanne that I feel like they could have did that a little bit better as for why she finally gave in. It was like, oh yeah, she gave in randomly and then you just gave her the belt. It was a little strange there, but it,
Right.
it is what it is. I'm not mad at it, and I just hope that they knock the match out the park. But I'm not really too excited for this match at all, to tell you the truth.
And I would agree with that, Michael. I think this match is a filler match, and I think that they just needed something to put on the card, and they were going through the motions when they were trying to book this match, and they said, "Here, put this on the match." So that's what they did here.
And I think they've been getting a lot of crap for not utilizing like the women's tag titles. So I think they kind of felt obligated to force it regardless because they wanted to get a tag title match on there. But I think the live injury just it really like hindered what they're doing with those belts right now.
Right. So that was that match. Okay. All right. So let's talk about this next one. Roman Reigns and Jay Uso will take on Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. Oh boy, this match is good. Oh my god. Ooh, this match is a powder keg. Oh my god, this is like TNT dynamite.
Yeah.
Um, Roman Reigns challenged these two at SummerSlam and they accepted. Roman Reigns was working out in the gym and he made a vow video and he challenged the two of them to a tag match. I knew this was going to happen. I predicted it was going to happen. I said it on Monday Night Raw. I don't know if you saw it, Michael, but I said it on Monday Night Raw. I said it. I said book the match because this is the way it's going to go. Give it to them at SummerSlam. Let's have this tag match. And sure enough, that's what the WWE did. They gave it their blessing and they sanctioned the match. So the build for this match has been
Yes.
as good as it gets. Roman called he called the wise man a dumbass. He called him a dumbass.
That was a
He
good
said,
one.
"Put that dumbass in the corner. Put that dumbass. Yeah, bring that waddle that dumbass out of that curtain. Yeah, yeah, that. Um, so, Michael, what do you think of the match itself and the build?
Look it. I'm a Yeet man. You see my Yeet glasses here. I know
Right, right,
a lot of Jay Uso haters. Um,
yeah,
I love Jay Uso. So first of all, I can't wait to see this match. The build it sprung up on us fast because Roman just appeared, but they've been working. They
right,
they did a damn good job with quick booking on this. So I enjoy the booking. This is I mean big match for Bronson Reed. And I also love the fact that um, Roman Reigns called them the Bronze.
Yeah, the
I know.
Bronze.
Yeah, that was that was pretty hilarious. They called him the Bronze. Versus Team Bron. When he said that, yeah, I was literally laughing. I was spit my drink up. But I do like the short build with this, and I don't mind the short build with this because this is Roman. You know, this is stepping stones. You
Right,
ain't taking a big build with him versus the lackeys. You know,
right.
so this was always gonna be a short build, and I loved it. I like what they did here.
Yeah, I agree with the assessment. I agree with the assessment. I think that this match is going to be a banger.
Yes.
This match is going to be a banger. These four men are not going to give you a lemon sour match. Oh no 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 no. They are going to, the minute this bell rings, they're going to brawl on the floor. They're going to brawl up the ramp. They're going to brawl in the ring. Roman is just going to be all over the, and let me just say this, and I'm going to say this too. And I've said this to many times over. You can't have SummerSlam without Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
You just can't. You just. I cannot picture a SummerSlam or a WrestleMania or a Survivor Series without Roman Reigns' involvement.
Yeah.
I just can't picture it. I can't picture it, and I don't think the WWE could either. So this is why they created the match. This is why.
Only way
This
he's
is
not there
why.
is if he didn't want to be there. That's the only way.
Right. And so they're going to be involved in this match. They're gonna get involved. They're gonna mix it up. And I'm gonna tell you something. If Paul Heyman sticks his nose in the match, he's gonna get it. Roman's gonna fix him. Roman will fix them. Either Jay will fix them. Oh my God! Can you imagine, Michael? Over 40,000 people yeeting. Oh my Lord!
Yeah.
That place is gonna be so loud.
Yeah.
That place. You just let me tell you something, folks. Once he comes out of the tunnel, I'm not sure what entrance he's coming out of, in section 109 or 10. Let me
This
tell you something,
is the
folks.
biggest pop of the night.
Oh boy. Don't even talk. Don't even talk. Just yeet. Just don't talk.
It's gonna
Just don't
happen.
talk.
It's gonna
Yeah.
happen.
Just don't talk,
He's gonna
folks.
pick
Don't
what kid
talk.
he's walking out with, or going to eat next to. He's gonna walk
Right.
up to the crowd, and everybody's going batshit crazy.
Yep. Just don't talk, folks. Just don't talk. Because I'm going to take a video of it. I'm going to look around that whole stadium, watch these people eat all over the place. I cannot wait to see that. I am looking forward to that so much. It is going to be a spectacle. It's going to be a spectacle. I'm going to tell you. Um. All right. So that was that match. All right, folks. We're up to the last match. John Cena will take on Cody Rhodes in a street fight for the undisputed championship. Now, if you remember, I don't know, Michael, if you saw SmackDown last week. Now, John Cena comes out and he says, "Oh, well, unfortunately, there won't be no match between us because I got obligations and I got this." He was scared of Cody. That's what he was doing. That's what I was trying to tell you all. He was coming up with all kind of scenario. He was talking about he was going to be in Bali and he was going to do a movie and uh, no, no, no,
Go food
no.
shopping. You need to get a haircut.
Right, exactly, exactly. I'm gonna go to the med store and get that pork chop that I saw on sale last week. He was coming up on
I
all
set
kind
all
of
my
crap.
doctor's appointments for this week.
Right, exactly. My doctor only works on Saturdays and Sundays, and I need to go for the physical. He was
Yeah,
coming with all kind of crap. He was coming
yeah,
with all
yeah.
kind of crap. And I'm sitting there watching the whole thing, and I'm just like, man, you are so full of cocky. It's not even funny. I was just,
Yeah.
I just was just like, would you just shut up and sign the damn contract with your fool? I was
Cena's trying
just
to
like,
run away with that belt, man. He said, "I remember when CM Punk threatened he was leaving with the belt. I'm really gonna leave with the belt this time." He said, "They don't know I ain't
exactly,
playing ball. I'm leaving."
exactly. And he had all this, he was going through the whole motion and all of this stuff. And Cody Rhodes had enough. He had enough. He put him through the table. He took his hand and he made him sign the contract. So now it's official. It's a street fight. And just to make sure everybody, if you all don't know, this match has no disqualification. It's got no count out. It's got no time limit. And this match can go all over the place. Cody Rhodes can use a chair, he can use the ring bell, he can use a table, whatever he wants, he can use it. And he won't be disqualified for it. Um, it was just too much. This was just way too much. Michael, what do you think of the build for this match on the match itself?
All right, so the match, I'm a huge fit. Cody Rhodes is one of my favorites right now. John Cena is one of the all-time favorites, even though he's not up high on the list right now. But all-time list, he's up there. Um, so the match, I mean, I'm hoping, we kind of touched on this earlier. If I get the result, or if I get the results I'm hoping for here, I'm leaving here happy. If I don't, it might feel like a little drag on, like it's being dragged on. But here's what I was gonna say. I wanted to make sure I got out there that I love both wrestlers and that I believe, and I'm anticipating the match. Something about this build I just don't like though. I'll be honest, I can't put my finger on it. I love this segment the other day. Um with the Jimmy Snuka version of the splash. Like I did enjoy that. In the contract signing. Although he could have just left the contract on the floor, splashed them, and then it made him sign it. Bringing it up there was actually made it more hilarious. But the
Right.
build, it's there. So it's not one of those things where I'm not acknowledging the build is there. I see the build. I just haven't liked the build, if that makes sense to you.
Right. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, the build itself is a little sus. It's a
Yeah.
little sus for me. I'm not 100% sure here, but we all know that Cody Rhodes won the crown at the Night of Champions, so he is the number one contender going into this match.
Yeah, that part's easy to understand. It's
That part is easy. The other part that's going to be very difficult for me to do next week is predict a winner because
yeah,
this is one of those bookings where do you really want to see Cody go and get the belt back from Cena, or do you want to see the story continue? Or I mean, it could just it all depends on how conflicted. Because right now I'm conflicted because the pendulum could swing either way here. It could go either way. I don't want to. Like I said, folks, all of my predictions that I do are for entertainment because I don't know the outcome of the match. I
right.
really don't. I'm not sitting in the war room and writing the match, so I really don't know. I only can tell you what I think should happen in the match. Will it come to fruition? It probably won't. But 9 times out of 10, sometimes what I predict sometimes does come true. Like what I'll say does come true sometimes. Not all the time, but sometimes.
Yeah.
So I'm not a wizard. So the thing is that this match could, like I said, it could go either way. It's like like one side of me wants this happen, but then on another side I'm like, I think that this should go that way.
Yeah.
I think we should go that way and move on. So I don't know. I'm kind of conflicted. I'll
That's
sit
the
back
same
and I'll
feeling with me. That's why I'm like iffy with the build.
yeah
We're like in agreement there.
yeah. Yeah, I'm kind of like waffling back and forth. So
Yeah.
next week I'm gonna take it all in, and then I'll come up with a summation, and I'll give you my final thoughts on it,
Yeah.
and then I'll tell you exactly what I'm feeling in my gut. But it's hard.
Yeah.
It was almost, it's almost like when I predicted the Hangman and Moxley match. Well, I did not want to see Moxley retain the title because I did not like Mox. I could not respect Moxley as a champion because he had it in a briefcase. So I
Yeah.
was kind of like waffling back and forth with the decision. But I made my decision and I stuck to my guns. And it did come to fruition. I was right. Hangman did walk out of that match with the belt. And I was very happy about that, and we
Yeah.
got it out of the dang briefcase. I
Yes.
was happy about that. Just like I was with Okada and Omega. I was conflicted with that too because that could have swung either way. And I was very happy with whoever came out as undisputed champ. I would have
Yeah.
been happy with it. Okada did win the match and he did win the belt and he was undisputed champion. So this is just like this. This is just like this. So I'm going to sit back. I'm going to marinate on it. I'll give you my final thoughts next Thursday night. I'll tell you how I'm feeling and everything. But right now, I feel like Michael. I am a little conflicted. It, mm, this could just go the left. Should we go left or should we go right? I'm not quite sure.
Yeah.
Not quite sure here. Not quite sure.
I'm
Um.
you on that same thing.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, should we go east or should we go west? I'm not quite sure. I'm not 100% sure here, folks.
Is it fair to say, and this is rough because I don't believe he deserved this in any not in AEW, not now if it's happening either. But has Cody came to that point where it's only gonna be downhill from here? Where it's like if you don't turn heel, eventually you end up in that same situation where your face being booed.
Yeah, well, something. Here's the thing. Here's the problem that I have.
Because he's
Okay.
falling flat right now. As
Yeah,
a
he is. He's
competitor
very
right
flat.
now, even his title run felt very flat. You know?
Yeah, and yeah, it did, and it was lackluster.
Yeah.
Um, and the problem that I have with this, Michael, is that if you don't give him that what he's seeking against Cena, what do you do with him after that? Because the thing is that you can't leave him off of WWE TV, and you can't do that. You can't book him in meaningless matches. You can't do that. So it's kind of like you're stuck between a rock and a hard place here. And the thing is that the belt is swinging like this, like back and forth, like a tennis ball.
Yeah.
So
I think
it, it
it,
what was that, Michael? Go ahead. I'm
like,
sorry.
I don't know what it is. I just feel like he's almost different dynamics, of course, because championship belt involved. Just a lot of little subtle changes, but I just feel like he's almost back at that point. Like in AEW, I didn't understand it when the fans started booing him and throwing his belt back at him and just didn't, it just got to the point that where they over. That's why I say some fans cheer or boo, don't like get out of context and bring it to like a disrespectful place because I feel like they ran him out of AEW, like fans,
Yeah,
not
they did because they're fickle.
yeah. Now I and I know a lot of problems with him, not problems like he's doing something, but just problems in general come from they thought he should turn heel. He said he'd never go heel, right? And he fought back against it, and inevitably he lost the fans, right? Um, I just don't want to see that happen in WWE again, but I feel like we're almost back there. I feel like they're in the back scenes right now telling him, Cody, you got to go heel. And I feel that if he don't, he's going to be treading that same water again soon where the chairs start getting lower and lower. It's almost like he's destined to be a heel at some point. He needs to embrace it.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that because the thing is that that politician baby face thing will vote for me and I'll give you the world. I mean that's getting old. I mean it's just it's just getting old already. I
Also,
mean, I
he's
want
also
to
that,
see some spark in him.
yeah,
Huh?
like he's also the American nightmare. I mean, make that a
Yeah,
heel persona. Like that's what
right.
he needs to do. Like it's there.
Exactly. And the thing is that in this street fight, I don't want you to be cookie cutter and be
Yeah,
sorry for Cena and all of that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Go, if this is a street fight, do dirty. Go down and dirty. He go low, you go low.
yeah.
You do low, he go low. Don't sit there and be like, oh no, I feel sorry. I don't want to. I don't want to use this kendo stick. I don't want to use this shit. I'm just
You
gonna
know,
put the now.
and
Don't
watching
don't do
him
that.
get out after he hits me with it, it's just like, and then you get kicked in the nuts. There's just been a lot of weird dynamics where Cody just got to go hell, yeah, because you're like, you
Yeah.
gotta start going backwards. It's the only way to go.
Right. You got to turn on the nastiness in the street, right? You got to get dirty with Cena. You got to get dirty because he's gonna do dirty. You know Cena gonna do dirty in this match. You know Cena. Cena knows that this is disqualification. Cena's gonna be dirty.
Yeah,
And then you have to be the same thing. You have to take out them devil horns and you're going to have to be dirty. Don't sit there and be cutesy. There's no cutesy crap going on in here. This is a street fight.
yeah. That's why he needs to embrace his dark side, man. You're the
Yeah.
American nightmare. You're the American
Yeah.
nightmare. Nightmares are not good, bro. So just embrace it. You know, and I think Cody will be fine. But I think if he turns down being a heel again, I think he's gonna regret it again. You know, I
Yeah,
just
that's
see it
true.
coming. I see it.
Jeffrey says, don't be scared to kick his ass." Yeah, I agree.
For real.
I agree. I feel a double turn. Well, we're gonna have to see about that.
Hey, listen.
Yeah, there's no cutesy in wrestling. No, there isn't. No, this ain't the time for you to put on pigtails and be cute. This
Yeah,
is
like
a
I don't.
street fight.
And then the thing too, it's like outside of like the very very young kids, everybody else knows it's scripted. It's like Cody, you're not a bad person because you're here. Like the
Right,
kids are still gonna love you. The kids are
right,
gonna still love
exactly. This right, and I think that's the problem. That's what he's concerned with.
you. Yeah,
Um, but the thing is that here's the thing, and then we're gonna move on here. The thing is that in this match, you can't be vanilla. You have to be extreme. And that's what you have to be in a street fight. If Michael and I were in a street fight, we're talking backstage about the match. I'm going to tell Michael now, listen, you're going to go out there and you're going to do your dirtiness to me. I'll do my dirtiest to you, and we're going to turn the audience on. That is how we're going to do this match. That's how we're going to do it.
ladders, all
That's
through
the,
under. It's just bring it all down to the ring.
but exactly. You do what you need to do to me, and I'll do what I need to do to you. And that is it. That is it.
Agree.
If it calls for busting open, okay, we bust each other open. Okay, that's fine. I don't care about that. That doesn't matter to me. That don't matter to me. What matters to me is me being cutesy with you. No, I'm not doing that. No,
That's
not in the
fair.
street fight. Not in the street fight. You don't do that. Mm-mm.
Yeah,
Mm-mm.
agree.
That's gonna turn the audience off immediately. So, ladies and gentlemen, that was SummerSlam. That was SummerSlam. And like I said, next week on the Wrestling Experience, I am going to give you my predictions and my thoughts on these matches, and I'll give you my final word on this Cena match. I'm going to do it next week. All right, before we get out of here, I'm not going to give you the entire list of Dynamite, but I'll just give you the main event. Mark Briscoe defeated Claudio Castagnoli in the match, and then the Death Riders came out. Hangman comes out and he challenged Moxley to a championship match next week on Dynamite in Chicago. Um, I want to go to Michael. Michael, what did you think of Dynamite last night, and what do you think about the main event?
All right, so I'm gonna probably like a 7.5 episode for me, maybe a 7. A few things I liked, a few things I didn't like. The main event, I mean, anytime I get a chance to see the sausage chicken, Mark Briscoe out there and his
Hmm.
redneck kung fu, I'm intrigued.
Right,
He's like, I've seen it growing. He's like the modern day, like, he's that Mick Foley guy, a Cactus Jack, like he's him, you know. Um, so I do like the fact that he's being showcased more. It sucks, obviously, how we had everything that he had to go through to get here. Because
right.
we should be watching the Briscoe brothers on TV. But the main event I was fine with. I enjoyed it. The promo with Hangman, I guess this is their way of maybe ending that feud to move on. Because it really wasn't. I'd say we just at the end of that match, it didn't seem like Moxley was done and just giving up on the title yet. So I guess that makes sense to move on. But I didn't mind it. I probably didn't need to do it that fast. Would be probably my only bad outlook of that. But I did enjoy the main event and the promo.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. And the Death Riders are barred from ringside. The
Yes,
Death Riders are barred from ringside. On I
should have
said
happened
this
2
last.
years ago. But
Yeah, yeah, I know. I know. I agree with that. I agree with that assessment. Um, but here's the thing. Um, here's the thing, Michael. I want to ask you this important question: Was this a mistake? Was this a mistake to take on Moxley again after you went to war with him the first time, and you know Moxley has some trick up his sleeve for Hangman? Now, was this a mistake to defend the title in this manner?
I'll make it a short and simple answer. Absolutely, it's a mistake. You just went through a
Mhm.
war to get the title, and nobody could get the title from him. And now you got it, and you're quick to jump back in the. It's like, look, you fell in the ocean. 4 sharks surrounded you. You somehow got
Right.
back on the boat, but you want to jump back in the water. It doesn't seem logical to me. So I think it's a mistake.
Yeah, I agree. I'm kind of nervous about this match next week.
Yeah, I didn't want to say it, but yeah, maybe Hangman might have been gifted a title because people wanted it. He might be sending it right back. So
Yeah, I hope that's not the case. I really hope that's not the case
I
next
agree.
week.
So I hope not.
I hope that's not the case. I really don't want to see that. I
Uh,
really and
I
truly
don't
do
think
not want
there's
to see
many
that.
in this world that want to see that, and that's not a knock
Yeah,
to John Moxley because Moxley's one of the best right now, but there's
right.
not many people that want to see that.
No. All right. The main event. Let me ask you something, Michael. On a scale of 1 to 10, what do you give it in the entertainment level?
Um, entertainment level. Well, it's crazy when you ask that because one of these dudes is a walking 10 when it
Right.
comes to entertainment level. Like, word of the day, anytime he got the microphone, redneck kung fu, everything is there. Um, but this is like such yin and yang, if that makes sense to you, because
Right.
as much as I love Claudio, and I do think Claudio should be taken out of the Death Riders and get a genuine push for like one of those top titles. Personally, like the international, or I mean the international title was I'm perfect for him. So I do want to see that. But he's a little dull sometimes outside of the swing.
Yes.
But the swing is gonna give him some entertainment points, right? Um, so 1 to 10, I'm gonna give it a solid 9 because Briscoe's bringing the
Okay.
steam. Briscoe's bringing
All
the
right.
steam, and Claudio's gonna give you at least 2 funny moments. which is probably all he's
Right.
good for. I mean,
That's all he
so
has in his repertoire.
yeah, because he's more like a strong style, serious professional wrestler, you know. So
Right.
he's not gonna give you much of the entertainment besides the stuff that he typically does. So the swing gives him the swing is like you know, gotta at least be a 3, right?
Right.
So give Briscoe the 5.5. I give Claudio's gonna bring about a 3. So I say 8 to a 8.5 on entertainment level.
Okay. I'm gonna give this match. I'm gonna go down the dial a little bit.
Yeah,
I'm gonna give this match a 7. The match gets a 7, and that's the best I can do for it.
yeah,
Will I want to see it again? No,
yeah.
no.
See, if we was doing a star ranking, if I was ranked, I wouldn't rank the match high, you know. But
Right,
Briscoe's just entertaining as fuck to me. Pardon my
right,
language.
exactly, exactly. No, you're right about that. I like him. And again, MJF and him mixed it up on Dynamite last night, and he keeps talking about the man's dead brother. Why would you do that? Let me explain something to you. If
They
somebody
got a
is
shirt.
so,
They made a shirt of.
yeah, yeah, I'm gonna tell you this much. If somebody ever pokes the bear with me like that and talks about one of my relatives like that,
Yeah.
oh man, it would be on like you're gonna be in World War III with me. I'm not gonna put up with it. I am not putting up with that. Week after week, you keep bringing them. Oh no 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 no. Mm-mm.
I
No
just
no no.
think that the one thing I would say, and even though it sucks that it's in like a derogatory manner, um, it's a way of at least, and it sucks to say it like this, but I do get it because I know Briscoe's okay with it, or he wouldn't be doing it.
Right
Um,
right right
at least they're still bringing Jay up. He's still being brought up. People that didn't know who he was, he's being mentioned on weekly, weekly episodic TV. So like for
right
some people that maybe didn't watch Ring of Honor, um, at least his name's still alive.
right.
But it
Exactly.
is a shit move. And if I was Mark, I wouldn't clear that type of stuff.
No. Swerve Strickland defeated Hechicero via disqualification. Again, the match was fine. The match was all right for what it was. On an entertainment level, I'll give the match a 6. The match gets a 6, and that's the best I can do with it. Michael, what did you think of the match? And
I'm
what do you think of the entertainment level?
I'm gonna match you on that. I think your rating's about right. Um, I get the dynamics of it. I know there's gonna be something big happening with the Dog Callis family, so not trying to pack up losses on them. I understand that. Match wasn't bad, really, and Swerve's my number one guy. You know what I'm saying? So that's my top wrestler right now. So the fact that
Hmm.
it just was okay for what it did. Decent match. That's it.
Yeah. And on an entertainment level, what number do you give it?
I'm gonna give it a 6.
Okay. Yeah, so we're both on the same page.
Yeah,
The match gets a 6. The match gets a 6, and that's the best I can do for it.
yeah.
Um,
Not a discredit to them. They're both amazing, but it just
right,
it could have been a lot better than it.
right, exactly. And Hangman defeated Will Yuta in the opening contest. That was fine, and he busted him open. That I had no problem with that either. With the chain, no problem with it. On the entertainment level, I gave the match a 7. The match gets a 7, and that's the best I can do for it. Great chemistry in the ring. Everybody played their part well in the match, and that was good for what it was.
Yeah.
Michael, what did you think?
I'm gonna go down one. I'm gonna stick to the 6. Um,
Okay.
and I just I like what's been going on with NBA lately, but Yuta's just one of those guys. It's taking a lot longer than typically it does for me to gravitate to somebody because I do know he's a good wrestler, but I don't know. He just he's not for me. Um,
Right.
and I knew that match would inevitably lead to Hangman jumping back in the water with the piranhas, which probably was another reason why I really wasn't too intrigued with the match. but I'm gonna stick with the 6, and that's mainly just because Hangman busted him open. To tell you the truth.
Yeah. Yeah, Will Yuta gets busted because he is a lackey
Yeah,
for the Death Riders, and lackeys get, well, like they always say in the streets, snitches get stitches. So, and Yuta got a lot of them. All right. Adam Copeland's segment with FTR, I loved it. He unleashed the Hurt Syndicate on FTR. Now, if you all don't know this, last week on Dynamite, Stokely Hathaway told Adam Copeland, if you touch FTR, if you interfere in any of their matches or you mess with them, you will be fired on the spot. So Adam Coleman can't do anything about it. He wants to get revenge on them, but now the stipulation, he can't touch them. So what is he going to do? He says, well, I phone a friend. Well, two friends. And the Hurt Syndicate came out and they beat the snot out of the
yep.
FTR, which I know there's going to be a tag match with FTR and the Hurt Syndicate at the Forbidden Door. I know Tony Khan's going to hook that match up, and that's going to be the booked in the match. Um, the segment that I gave this segment, I'm going to give this segment a 7.5, and that's the best I can do with it. That was the best I can do with it. Michael, what do you think?
Um, I like this segment. Copeland, there's been times he's been a little shaky on the microphone since getting to AEW. I think it's probably a little bit more creative control, less written. Took him a little bit longer to get used to it. But he's zoned in now. I like what he's doing. Um, the Hurt Syndicate dynamic is gonna get an extra, point for me. So I'm gonna give it an 8. I liked what they did.
Okay. All right. And Bobby Lashley sends a warning to MJF. I'm not your lackey.
Yep.
I loved it. I loved it. And you know what, folks? I think eventually what's going to happen here, Mr. MJF is getting kicked out of the Hurt Syndicate very soon. And they're going to beat the snot out of him and they're going to make a strong, driven home message to Mr. MJF very
We're
soon.
gonna see Lashley and MJF feud over the AEW World Title at some point.
Yep, I agree. I agree. Yeah, so me and Michael. Well, I gave the segment a 7.5, and Michael, you gave it a what? An 8?
Yep, and 8.
An 8. All right, so that was the segment. So, folks, that was some of the things that happened on Dynamite. As a whole, the show wasn't bad. I gave the show a B as a whole. The show got a B, and that was the best I can do for it as a whole. Michael, what letter grade did you give the whole show
I
last night?
I gotta match you because I already graded this show a B.
Uh huh. Mm-hmm.
Lynn's like a 7.5 or an 8 out of 10,
Yep.
which is pretty good.
Yep.
Obviously can always be better. But yeah,
Yes.
I'm gonna go with about a B.
Yeah, I gave the show a B, folks. I gave the show a B as a whole. It wasn't horrible. It wasn't terrible. It was just in the middle of the road. Really nothing much to go home about. There was really nothing like spark or exciting that really happened. It was really nothing to, wrap your head around or scratch your head about or anything like that. They just was just going through the motions last night. They had to give you some compelling storyline, and that's exactly what they gave you. They gave you what they can produce. So, but folks, that is it for the wrestling experience. Michael, thank you so much for coming on tonight. I really appreciate you. You were one of the most best guests I've ever had, and your knowledge of wrestling is absolutely great. I love your opinions, and you need to come back here and do an encore for sure.
Thank you.
Um, yeah, yeah. Like I said, my door's open next week, or if you want to come back in August, that is entirely
I'll
up
stop,
to you.
I'll stop by next Thursday. We could do the predictions. I got you.
Okay, great. All right. So me and Michael will be back with you next Thursday with the predictions for SummerSlam. We're gonna talk about SummerSlam. We're gonna talk about the build. We're gonna do the predictions. We're gonna have fun with those matches. We're gonna do all those matches. We're gonna give you night number one, night number two, and we're gonna discuss it all. Plus, on the wrestling experience, I also gonna give you some wrestling news, as I always do every Thursday night. I give you some wrestling news. We're gonna do that. So all of that will be encompassed on the SummerSlam Go Home Show. And that will be next Thursday. We are going to give you the predictions for SummerSlam 25. I cannot wait for SummerSlam 25 weekend. I think it's going to be great. I think we're going to be in some shock and awe. I think they're going to give us something that we'll never forget because
Yeah.
this is historic. This is the first time in modern wrestling that SummerSlam is being split into two nights. It's never been done before. And
It's
we get it first here in the New Jersey, New York market. We get it first.
you
Minnesota gets
lucky
it.
mother effer. You lucky mother
yeah. Yeah, yeah, I am lucky. Yeah, I am lucky. I'm gonna be involved the entire weekend. I'm gonna be exhausted. But anyway, folks. Anyway, folks. That is SummerSlam weekend, and I cannot wait for it. This is going to be historic. This is going to be historic. We get it first. Minnesota gets it next year. And it's going to be great. It's going to be great. Um,
Yeah.
so, folks, thank you all for watching the wrestling experience. I'm going to be back in cyberspace just 24 hours from now when I give you Friday Night SmackDown. Friday Night SmackDown will be live tomorrow here on my YouTube channel, and I'm going to call all the matches for you. I'll give you all of the excitement that you need for Friday Night SmackDown. And now I'll be on the air with SmackDown at 7:50 Eastern Time, and I hope you're going to tune in and watch the telecast. Because it's going to be a fun night of action where the Blue Brand brings it to you. Let's see. Uh, Look at Naomi. She embraced her dark side. Yes, she did. Yes, she did. All right, folks. That's going to do it for the that is going to do it for the wrestling experience. I want to thank everyone that was in the chat. I want to thank again Michael for his time and energy. And he was fabulous and he's good at what he does. Follow him on Twitter. But make sure you have the correct change, or else Mr. Michael will make you snap tap on that. Until then, everyone, I'm Earl Cole. Good night, everyone. I'll see you tomorrow night for Friday Night SmackDown.